Every workout, every practice, every day counts. Doug Marrone's football team is far from a finished product, but soon they'll have to be ready. There are Jaguars working their bodies in the present, their minds focused on the future, and others working in the present who can't afford to be anywhere else than in the moment. Tonight, opportunity awaits on the Jaguars television network.
Live from TIAA Bank Field, it's the Philadelphia Eagles at the Jacksonville Jaguars on the Jaguars Television Network. Presented by Leica Mobile.
It's a steamy summer night on the banks of the St. Johns River. North Florida, the setting for the Jaguars' second preseason game. And they get Nick Foles' former team, the team he led to a Super Bowl championship. The Jaguars and the Eagles this evening at TIAA Bank Field. Hello, everybody, and welcome to TIAA Bank Field. Brian Sexton along with All-Pro offensive tackle Leon Searcy. What's become of the preseason? The Jaguar starters didn't play last week. They won't play tonight. They won't play in 2 weeks against the Falcons. The question is, how much time do these guys need, and what's the value of resting versus playing?
Well, you know what? This is the new NFL. When I was playing, we played all the preseason games. Not that much. Maybe got a series or two, and we definitely didn't play in the fourth game. But a lot of these coaches realize that they need their key components, their key variables, their key players during the regular seasons, so they're resting them a lot more than you see in the past.
So next week should be enough for these guys to be ready.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Time for the Tico Hot Takes. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. 27 players will not play this evening for the Jaguars on either side. Only one on offense, one starter. We don't know his name, though. It's a position, the right guard position. Yeah. There are 4 guys vying for the job.
Well, it's a position that's near and dear to my heart, the offensive line, of course. And you've got 4 guys essentially jockeying for a position, the right guard position. You've got Ken, you've got Shatley, you've got Richardson, you've got Thomas. One thing that Coach Marrone had mentioned is that he wants to see these guys be playmakers, He wants them to play firm, fast, and physical. So it's going to be very interesting to see which guy takes the lead as we move forward into 2019.
Who's your leader in the clubhouse?
Well, I'm rooting for my guy, Will Richardson. He's big, he's physical, he's 6'5", 350 some pounds, and I just see him and Jawan Taylor next to each other just wrecking shop on that right side.
Yeah, it sounds like it back in the day. I remember what that was like. Time for our second Tico Hot Take, and we'll go to the defensive side of the ball. Taven Bryan has been getting short shrift out there. A lot of people don't think he's playing very well, but the head coach told us yesterday that's not the case.
Well, I've got firm experience on being the first round, and whether the scrutiny is fair or not fair, when you're a first round pick, they expect some kind of production out of you. Now, he had a rough year last year. It was a learning year for him, but this year he's made some strides, and Coach Marrone said that he's done some great things on film, so we'll see if he can keep it up, come this game.
Those are the Tico Hot Takes. Tico Peoples Gas, where its people are dedicated to serving Jacksonville with clean and reliable natural gas. Tonight, the Jaguars and the Eagles coming up next on the Jaguars Television Network.
To you by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Insurance Office of America. We make the complex world of insurance simple. Leica Mobile. Make the call. Switch to Leica Mobile.
Welcome back to TIAA Bank Field. Brian Sexton, Leon Searcy, and a nice little crowd starting to build here on an overcast night. Let's head downstairs to the other half of our broadcast team, Brent Martineau and Ashlyn Sullivan. Hello, guys.
Hey, Brian. A Gatorade player to watch this week is wide receiver Keelan Cole. If it wasn't for a penalty last week, would have scored a touchdown. Brent, no doubt it's a rebound season for him.
Absolutely. He had a fantastic rookie season as an undrafted free agent. Made this football team make some plays. Last year made that incredible catch here against the New England Patriots. Then had a disappointing rest of the campaign. And then that 102-yard kickoff return, that was the highlight. Doug Marrone says, someone going to make plays. Keelan Cole made it, but the holding calls it back. Had some nice catches in practice this week. Let's see what Keelan Cole does tonight.
There you have it, Brian Leon, our Gatorade player to watch. Keelan Cole, Gatorade carbs to refuel, electrolytes to replenish.
Thank you so much. The Jaguars wearing their teal uniforms this evening. They went back to the teal on white look that was made famous in the golden era of Jaguars
A little old school. I love it. I love the look.
I do too. The Eagles wear the white on white. Boston Scott will be the return man to get this game underway. Leon, there are a lot of guys on those sidelines who are watching who know they have jobs. There are more that don't. You always were going to make the team. You were a first-round pick, but you know what these guys are thinking. As a veteran, what are you telling some of the young guys as they get ready for their action?
Well, first thing you're doing, you're a cheerleader. You're up, you're enthusiastic about the guys, you're motivating them, you're consoling them. They may have a bad play, or they may have a good play. You celebrate the good plays and you console the bad plays. Say, put that behind you.
So you're a coach.
Yeah, you're a coach. You're essentially a coach. I guarantee you all those guys who aren't playing right now, they're not on the bench. I guarantee you they're going to be just involved in the game as the coach.
Please reset the game clock. Please set the game clock at 15 minutes, please. Thank you.
It's preseason for everybody. Right down the hallway, they're getting the clock and everything set up. Here we go. The Jaguars will kick off to begin this second preseason game. The first of two here at TIAA Bank Field. You heard me mention the Falcons just a moment ago. They'll be here in 2 weeks. And here's Scobie's kickoff, and we are underway. Scott's got it out near the 5-yard line. He's looking for room near the 20 of the Jaguars special team units. Put him down right there at the 23-yard line. Hey, there's one guy who is playing tonight on defense who is a starter. He asked to play, and that's Jared Wilson, the safety, who came in as an undrafted rookie free agent a few years ago and told us, hey, all he knows is having to play at this time of year. So he convinced the coach to let him play.
Well, that's good, and that's impressive. I mean, because he's not that experienced.
Right.
So he wants to get some experience going into the preseason that'll lead him into 2019.
Wants the opportunity. You bet.
Good for him.
So the quarterback this evening is Cody Kessler. We know a little bit about him. He's got one back and 4 targets. Miles Sanders is in the backfield right now. Here's the handoff to Sanders. He's got a hole over the right side, and a big one at that. He's across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line for a pickup of 12 yards.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much push by that defensive line. That offensive line came off the ball. And
you can see.
Yeah, they just watched it, and then the defensive end, I mean, his head's down. He doesn't even see the cutback. I mean,
that's a veteran player.
Yeah,
Jones.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So Kessler, who spent a season in Jacksonville last year, lines up in the shotgun with the back and 3 receivers, a man in motion. And there's a quick toss. Quentin Meeks reads it but can't get him down before he lunges for the first down across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. It was Meeks that got him on the ground, and that is Charles Johnson, the receiver, giving the Eagles a first at the 46. So the Eagles, with an offense that we know has its personality set. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, they do what they do. 3 receivers. Kessler surveys the defense and drops to throw. With time, fires a line drive spiral, and it's broken up on the far sideline. And guess who?
Yes.
That's Tay Hayes.
There you go. Good
Check
coverage.
that. That's Breon Borders.
Well, that's great coverage.
Borders is a guy who's made a bunch of plays on the practice field.
He just out-physical the guy. He was in man coverage. He was out-physical the wide receiver. There's no chance he had the opportunity to get that ball.
So here's second down. Kessler looks at the Jaguars defense and takes the snap. Turns and slings a pass over the head of his intended target. He was looking down the field for Shelton Gibson.
That was good pressure.
Connect.
That was good pressure by the front 4 of the Jaguars right there. Kind of made Kessler hurry that throw a little bit. That's why it was overthrown.
So first 3rd down for the Jaguars defense to try to hold the Eagles. They'll go with an empty backfield. The Jaguars are adjusting. Linebackers and safeties creeping towards the line of scrimmage here at the 46-yard line. Early going first drive of the game. Kessler with the waist-high snap. Shuffles his feet under pressure. Now he's got room to run. He's going to get the first down and more. Finally put on the ground at the 40-yard line in Jacksonville territory. A gain of 14 yards before he's finally stopped. Once he got outside the pocket, there was no one to help.
No, there wasn't. There was a breakdown. There was a breakdown as far as lanes. The defensive guys staying in their lanes. Cody Kessler just ran and made the first down.
Once again, C.J. Rivas, who last week had 8 tackles, makes the stop. You can see right now, they are just putting up yardage in chunks. 12, 11, 14. Tight ends are set to the bottom of your screen. Here's the handoff. Sanders hitting the backfield and drop. Teal shirts everywhere.
Yeah, that's great penetration. Great penetration by the front four. Even Josh Allen was in on the tackle.
Najee Good, who was a linebacker that the coach is very high on. The Jaguars, some people think they're thin at linebacker. Not necessarily so. Good, Ramik Wilson, DJ Alexander, all earning the coach's praise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Coach Marone said he's had a good week of practice and he's versatile, and he gets after it.
And another guy you just saw here, Josh Allen, first-round pick. There's 2nd and 10. Jordan Howard, the former Bears in the game now, and the quarterback is pounded.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's a veteran move there by Dayton Jones. Cody Kessler slow to get up. Jones is a guy who has had an up-and-down camp, but the former first-round pick of the Packers right there showed why he's likely to earn a spot.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get a clear shot on the quarterback, you're supposed to do this. I don't know what the Eagles are doing. Had to be a breakdown in protection. They slid right when they should have slid left because you can't let that guy just go in. That was good for us.
Yes. Yes, very good for the Jaguars.
Yeah,
brings up 3rd down and 12. They converted on 3rd and 10 on their only opportunity here on this drive. Kessler slides a man in motion. He's got to be wondering where 96 is coming from, and the play is whistled dead. Slung the ball out, but it was whistled dead.
The game is being stopped for a medical timeout.
Okay. So you wonder, the guy they were looking at was Cody Kessler.
Yeah, got to be concussion protocol. I mean, he took a whack. Are they looking at Cody?
And the Eagles medical training staff is out there. Kessler's, hey, what are we doing here? But remember that there is a medical observer in the broadcast booths, press box, and there's someone on the sideline, and they have the ability to call down there and say, hold on a sec, we need to look at this one. Make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
As a former player,
you set the game clock to 12:20.
And Kessler's walking to the sideline. You've seen how the concussion has become so much a part, how they have focused on it. Quarterback is being changed here on the first series of the game. Your thoughts on how the league is handling this?
Well, you know, they've got to handle it like this. I mean, anytime you're dealing with the brain and hitting the ground and all that kind of stuff, that hit right there, I mean, he went face to to the dirt. So you've got to make sure the quarterback is taken care of.
12:20 on the game clock. 12:20.
All right. So they'll bring in the rookie from Northwestern, Clayton Thorson. He may go the rest of the way for the Eagles this evening. One back is Howard, the former Bear. 3rd down and long. There's play action. The ball is thrown at the feet of his intended target. Incomplete. And the Jaguars
defense.
Throwing
on the field is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
Joe Giles-Harris and Josh Allen hit the quarterback, forced the quick throw. This is what the Jaguars defense did last week, if you recall, in Baltimore. They bent a little bit, but when it came time for the Ravens to score, they had to settle for field goals.
Yeah.
Here, it appears they're going to settle for a punt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great rush by the Jaguars, by the way. Way to get after the quarterback.
Keelan Cole is back to retrieve this punt. Remember last week, he had a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. He's fighting for a roster spot here. He's a talented guy. Everyone remembers what he did 2 years ago, especially in that playoff run. He's got a good shot at it. Special teams will be a key to his involvement in 2019. Long count. And Johnson. You wondered, trying to buy a little time, get 5 yards on this deal. That's the only thing. It's not like it's 3rd down and 4.
Still 4th down.
He wants to try to pin him deep, figures it's a better opportunity there. 12:16 to play, first quarter here at TIAA Bank Field.
Correction, Jacksonville has elected to decline the delay of game penalty. Still 4th down.
I was just going to ask that. Why would they take
Please reset the game clock to 12:18.
Strategy.
Exactly.
12:18 on the game clock.
I like Keelan Cole. He had a great season as an undrafted rookie, was a phenomenal story out of Kentucky Wesleyan. Made the big catch last year against the Patriots, that one-handed catch that was one of the highlights of the season, and then we didn't hear much from him.
Yeah, that's one thing you can't do if you're undrafted free agent. You can't disappear. because the NFL is a revolving door. They will find another player if you're not getting it done.
He called for the fair catch, and the Jaguars will send Gardner Minshew and the offense out right after this timeout. Or in Jacksonville, the Jaguars offense out there, and it's time to make it matter, presented by Sharpie. And tonight we're focused on your guy, Will Richardson Jr. Your thoughts on this young man as he gets an opportunity to win a starting job?
Well, he's a big physical specimen, especially at the right guard position. He came in, he was drafted as a right tackle. They're moving him in the right guard. He's 6'5", 335 pounds. He has a tremendous opportunity to break into the starting lineup, and it starts right here and getting it done.
Here's 1st and 10. Gardner Minshew drops to throw. Looking down the field, tries to avoid the pressure, gets out, turns and slings the ball, and it's over his intended target, Keelan Cole's reach. Incomplete, but hey, how about Minshew creative, making something happen?
Yeah, Boyce is sacked. I mean, that was some pressure given up by Wester. The right tackle, number 61. He's got to do a lot better job than that.
And he's the guy, again, Cam Robinson came off the PUP list. He's practicing again, but that is no guarantee that he'll be ready to go on opening day, which means a guy like Wester might earn a roster spot, might need to play. Alfred Blue in the backfield now. 2nd and 10. Here's the handoff to Blue with a big hole up the middle, and look at him go across the 15 to the 18-yard line.
Great push up front. Great push by that offensive line up front. That's how you're supposed to get it done.
Good look here on a 7-yard gain.
Anybody that knows football knows that the running game is your tackle. I mean, your 2 guards and your center. Their ability to push the 1, push the 3, and get to the middle linebacker. Jaguars did an outstanding job just then with that running game.
Sidney Jones, the defensive back, was the only thing between him and midfield and maybe the end zone on that play. 3rd down and 3 from the 18-yard line. Cole slides in motion at the top of your screen. Now Minshew sends him back. Quick turn, quick throw. Cole's got it. Looks like he's got 1st down yardage as he pushes forward on the Jaguars sideline near the 23-yard line. Give him 6, Leon.
Yes, that was a quick release by Gardner Minshew, unlike it was last week. I mean, he's seeing the coverage, he's seeing the receiver in their break, and he's making the quick throw.
He looks comfortable. And Doug Marrone told us yesterday that he had a good week on the practice field. This is what he wanted to see. He wanted to see him making plays.
Absolutely. He wanted to see him take control of the huddle.
1st and 10. Minshew with 1 back. Eagles adjust. Here's a quick drop. He's looking to his right now. Turns and throws the ball away as an Eagle had him around the ankle. There was all kinds of pressure from Vinny Curry, and he just had to throw it away in the direction of Cole.
Yeah, that was a good job getting rid of the football. This is right here. This is Cedric Boye.
Yeah, he just lost it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was a little too high. That's the reason why the guy got underneath him. He was a little too high on that pass.
Boye's done a nice job, former 1st-round pick of the Bengals. Never really settled in this week. George Warhoff, the offensive line coach, said he really liked him coming out of Texas A&M and thinks he's got an opportunity to contribute here. And again, with Cam Robinson's situation, it might be earlier. Here's the handoff, looking for room. The back tries to escape. It's Alfred Blue reversing his field. There's just nothing there.
Yeah, that was all on it. No, the offensive line did nothing on the right side there. Alfred Blue, all the yards that he got, he was lucky to get back to the line.
Yeah, he ended up losing, too. Yes. And so here's 3rd down and long for Gardner Minshew. There just was nothing there. Good penetration up front. The linebacker found his way into the mix. Zach Brown, veteran, former Titan and Panther, Redskin. Tight end sets up right. 3 receivers to the top of your screen. So 3rd down and long for Minshew. Eagles backing everyone up as Minshew faces a 4-man rush. He'll turn and throw. This one is caught. C.J. Board will make it at the 25, but there's not a whole lot of room. He gets to the 26, and that will bring on Logan Cook, who was a very busy man last week, punting 8 times for the Jaguars. Dark clouds circling the stadium, but we're told that the rain is not going to be paired up with lightning tonight. That's a good thing.
That's absolutely good thing. Good thing. Good to see the fans coming out and supporting the Jaguars.
Boston.
Despite the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a preseason where they knew that there weren't going to be any starters. Here's Cook with a high hanging punt. Boston Scott calls for the fair catch, makes the decision to let it bounce, and it's a good one. It rolls inside the 30, the 20, and down near the 15-yard line. A 58-yard punt, no return for Logan Cook. No score in Jacksonville. Back in just a moment. Jaguars' all-new mobile app and get game day ready. See the latest video highlights. Plus, you can live stream the games all season long. On game day, the app will help you secure digital tickets, see concession menus, and allow to receive exclusive upgrades and experiences. Visit the iTunes or Android store and connect with the Jaguars today. Let's go to the sidelines and check in with Ashlyn Sullivan. Hello, Ashlyn.
Hey, Brian. Leon, you know firsthand the transition from college football to the NFL can be hard, especially on your diet. For first-round draft pick Josh Allen, he needed to incorporate more veggies into his diet. He spoke with many of the Jaguars nutritionists who helped him out with that, but said by no means do you put mushrooms on my plate. He had to give up some barbecue, his favorite meal, to slay slim and trim. But there's one thing Mindy still lets him eat at lunch, and that is the Jaguars garlic bread. I can attest it's very good. He switches it up sometimes. Some days he'll have a plate full of 6 pieces. Other days he'll use it to make a sandwich. Guys, you gotta have variety.
My question is, is the garlic bread as good for you as the broccoli and the cauliflower? Because I can handle the garlic bread.
It tastes a lot better, trust me.
Holding, number 83, offense. The penalty is declined. Second down.
Well, while we were talking about Allen, Taven Bryan made a big play, and he was one of our Tico hot takes. He knifed in there and dropped the back for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, outstanding job.
So here we go on second down and 12. Thorson, the quarterback, on in relief of Cody Kessler, who left after the hit by Dayton Jones. Receivers at the bottom of your screen. And here's a quick throw and a quick flag on the rookie from Northwestern.
False start, number 69, offense. After the 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's actually on Matt Pryor, but on Thorson's offense, Pryor second-year offensive lineman. So back him up 5 more. And here's a replay. This is a great situation for the Jaguars defense to tee off. So the ball is set at the 8-yard line. It's 2nd and 17. Low snap, it's on the ground. Thorson is getting chased. He's hit as he throws this one away to the sidelines. That's Dayton Jones getting back there and putting the heat on the quarterback.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm liking about the Jaguars front 4. They're not having to blitz that much. They're getting the penetration with the front 4, getting after the quarterback right here.
We talked about Dayton Jones. All week last week in Baltimore, he was a force. And then this week, he was inconsistent on the practice field. And, the coach yesterday told us he's a guy with ability. He knows Dom Capers, who's here working with Todd Wash this year, wants to see plays from him. He's seen him a lot tonight. So third down and 17 from the 8. Here's the draw play, and there's no room, but the running back knifes his way for a few. He gets beyond the defender, and Jordan Howard, a veteran, former Chicago Bear, got out near the 20-yard line, not nearly enough. Leon, and here's the punting team. Look at great penetration again by Dayton Jones, and Taven Bryan was there pushing the pocket.
Well, that was a great job of stopping them on, on third down, but you can't give up that many yards on the draw play. Okay. Even though if you are getting penetration, you still got to stay in your lane.
So here's Keelan Cole back to retrieve this punt. He's got a chance now. The 35-yard line with room to the 40. We've seen his speed. Flags are thrown again. Yeah. He's dancing around, trying to figure his way from the 43 forward. It wasn't there. There were white shirts all around him. And holding will be the penalty against the Jaguars, so this one will go back. There wasn't nearly the room tonight.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 38, receiving team. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
All right, the Jaguars and the Ravens are the Eagles on. And welcome back to Jacksonville. Second preseason game. First quarter, no score. 7:29 to play here in the first 15 minutes, Leon. And there's A.J. Cann, who is fighting for that right guard spot. We mentioned those 4 guys, and we've seen Will Richardson at left guard tonight. A.J. Cann at right guard. What does he have to do to hold on to his job?
Well, he has to show his versatility. And right now they've got him playing in center. They paid him big money in free agency at right guard. I thought he would be a mainstay there, but right now he's getting pushed by Will Richardson, so he just got to be able to show his versatility on a team where he can play either center or guard. That's how you keep him on. That's how you keep him on your roster.
Short gain for Alfred Blue running over the right side. Give him maybe a yard. I think maybe he just got back to the line of scrimmage by the time they put the ball down. It'll be 2nd down and 10. They're running to that right side.
Yeah, but not that much pushing on that right side, though.
Again, that's why a guy like Richardson's able to compete with Can, who started 62 games, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Minshew in the shotgun here with 3 receivers. Corners are backed off on the outside for the Eagles. The waist-high delivery, the look, the throw. DJ Chark, the target, he's got it! Oh, and the second-year player from LSU did not end up pulling it in and getting his feet in bounds. But, boy, that looked like it was going to be a big-time play.
No, that was great effort. Great effort. Nice nice touch by Gardner Minshew.
10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
I wouldn't have counted anyway.
Well, that's
correction. Philadelphia has elected to decline the penalty. It'll be 3rd down.
Will Richardson with a holding penalty. Yeah. Hey, I like the arc on the ball. It was a high ball that was set for the tall Chark, who's nearly 6'4", to pull it in.
Yeah, you could tell they've worked on that by the way he threw that ball. Only where he could get it.
They've elected not to take the penalty. They'll leave it 3rd down and 10. Jaguars send Chark to C.J. Board. Keelan Cole to the top of your screen. Minshew drops back looking that way, now comes back over the middle, and he throws it for James O'Shaughnessy, who reaches for the ball across the 45-yard line, comes down near the 48 with a big clutch catch. 18 yards, and that is so key for that position. They're banged up. There's no Jeff Swaim tonight. There's no Josh Oliver, the 3rd-round pick. O'Shaughnessy trying to make the team. You're going to make it with a play like that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what Coach Marone was talking about yesterday. He wants to see these tight ends stretch this defense.
Who can make some plays?
Absolutely.
Here's Blue. Had some room, I thought, to the outside, but opted to stay and go back to the middle and picks up a yard.
Yeah, he should have kept that outside. He had more room outside than inside.
Blue, the veteran free agent, signed from Houston in the offseason. Number 2 back behind Leonard Fournette. Different style back. Well, maybe what he saw was that defensive back coming up, decided not to opt it back. Thomas Rawls checks into the ball game. He practiced back-to-back days this week for the first time since camp opened. Former Seattle Seahawk. And he takes the handoff and is hit in the backfield. He never had a chance.
Too much penetration on the left side.
No chance whatsoever. Eagles have a couple of guys out there who are playing. Brandon Graham, Malcolm Jenkins, and Jenkins, the safety, was right there. He was waiting for it. Made the stop.
Yeah, that has to be a mental error on the offensive line somehow. Let that guy just come free and make a tackle.
Vinny Curry, Malik Jackson went to the Pro Bowl for the Jaguars a few years ago. So they got some frontline guys out there getting them some snaps. And just like that, it's 3rd and long again for Gardner Minshew. With time, pumps now, fires it underneath. Rawls has got it, though a flag is down as Rawls is covered up at the 45 of Philadelphia with about a 10-yard pickup.
Yeah, that's all sides on the defense. He jumped a little bit.
Offside, number 75, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Vinny Curry.
Yeah. Good.
You can see it right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jumped into the neutral zone right there in front of Cedric Ogbuehi. So push the ball 5 yards forward and make it a more manageable 3rd down. At the 49-yard line of Philadelphia. 4:47 to play, first quarter, no score. Cole and Board stacked at the top of your screen. DJ Chark all by himself at the bottom. Minshew with a long count. Barks out the signals, takes the waist-high delivery. Pressure coming, steps to avoid, turns, launches the ball down the field. And he's got Keelan Cole, but he couldn't pull it in. Inbounds, incomplete, and the Jaguars will send the punt team out. Great coverage down the field, forcing the errant throw. Rasul Douglas was right there. Not a catchable ball, and so here comes Logan Cook to punt for the 2nd time here in the first quarter. Cook last year, 27 punts down inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Rookie 7th-round pick a year ago was very effective at that. Got a nice knuckleball kick. This one is a high-hanging kick, and Scott calls for it. He's going to let it bounce. Not a good choice. And it's going to go out of bounds at the 5-yard line. All right, no score. The Eagles are backed up deep. The Jaguars defense takes the field. We're back after this. Season, so why not party like it's 1995? Join us for Throwback Thursday 2 weeks from tonight, the 29th of August, when the Jaguars take on the Atlanta Falcons. We'll celebrate all things 90s in honor of the Jaguars' inaugural season. Purchase tickets today, and you'll receive an exclusive 90s fan pack, complete with a fanny pack, scrunchie, and slap bracelet. Call 904-633-2000 and secure your seats today. Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
You ever have a fanny pack?
Never.
I didn't think you would. Folks, I wish you could have seen his face. I think I insulted him. Sorry, Leon.
No, you're good.
We'll check in with Brent Martineau, who I know had a fanny pack, right after this. 1st and 10, the Eagles at their own 5-yard line. Jaguars defense done a nice job on the last 2 series. Miles Sanders takes the handoff, tries to bounce it to the outside. Jaguars are in pursuit, but they can't pull him to the ground, and he crosses the 20. Let's go to Brent Martineau on the sideline. Brent?
Absolutely no fanny pack, Brian, but I do have an injury update. You mentioned during the call, Vinnie Curry rolled up on Alfred Blue's ankle. The running back just went to the locker room under his own power, but he's questionable to return.
That looks like it hurt. It looks like it hurt a lot.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
So Alfred Blue is out of the ball game right now, and we'll keep you up. That's Sideline Report presented by VyStar Credit Union. We never forget, it's your money. Visit VyStarCU.org. 2-yard pickup on 1st down for the Eagles. Hey, you know, they're just getting Rawls back. To lose Alfred Blue means that you're going to have to rely on Raquel Armstead, who left the game with a concussion last week. Rawls and Devontae Mays. A little thin if Blue can't go. 2nd down, call it 8. 4 receivers for Thorson again. On in the 1st quarter in relief of the injured Cody Kessler. Pressure coming, there's the throw over the middle, and it's 1st down yardage as the receiver got away from Breon Borders at the 30-yard line and was able to lunge to the 32 to pick up his 1st down yardage. So a productive play and a 1st down as Charles Johnson makes the grab. So another 1st down for Philadelphia, who was buried at their own 5-yard line to begin this drive. And now has some breathing room for the rookie quarterback. And the ball's on the ground again. He picks it up, looks long down the sideline, and this one is incomplete. Well, maybe we'd see a flag there because the Eagles receiver was able to push off of Trey Herndon and found plenty of room after Herndon had fallen to the ground, but they won't call it. That
was just a good job of getting rid of the football, to be honest. That shotgun snap was terrible. Off to his left, it was just a good job that he got rid of.
The receiver's the rookie from Stanford, J.J. Arthega-Whiteside. Big, tall kid. 2nd and 10, corners are pressed. Thorson slides a man in motion, takes the snap, turns and throws to that man, and he gets away and finds room to the outside, and he's free for a 1st down. Finally caught from behind at the 45-yard line. He got away from Trey Herndon and picked up 12 yards. And that is Markin Michael. Here's the replay. You can see Herndon had a shot at him but couldn't get to him.
Yeah, that's one of them receiver tunnel screens. Eagles do a great job in blocking. Jaguars.
Set the ball.
Just behind.
At the 44-yard line here. Less than 2 to go, 1st quarter, no score. Thorson looks to the sideline, barks out the signals, takes the snap, play action, stands in the pocket with time, fires it, and is broken up. And a nice job once again. Borders jumps into the fray and gets in the way of the intended target, Joshua Perkins. It'll bring up 2nd down. Borders again. There's a lot of defensive backs, young defensive backs. Tay Hayes, Breon Borders, Quentin Meeks, Trey Herndon. They're stockpiling them. GM Dave Caldwell told me earlier this week, when you've got guys, highly paid guys like they do with Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye, you need a lot of young guys who can develop. It looks like they've done a good job of identifying talent in that secondary.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in your nickel and dime package. You're looking for that extra corner that can come in.
They're going to call.
Play right away.
Neutral zone infraction number 96, defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Here's the other thing. Last year, the Jaguars lost DJ Hayden, their starting nickelback, early in the year with a toe, and he was gone for a big chunk of the season. And A.J. Boye was gone. You need these young guys, the Meeks, the Herndons, maybe Tay Hayes if he can continue to develop. You need these young guys to be able to contribute.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to be able to come in, step in, not miss a beat.
So 2nd and 5 now after the penalty on Dayton Jones. Here's the handoff. A little bit of room in the middle. Jordan Howard, though, does a nice job of sliding to the outside and is finally pulled down. Josh Allen getting up off the bottom of the pile there along with Joe Giles Harris, the undrafted rookie from Duke who has impressed the coaching staff. They think he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
Of course, when you say Duke, smart, it works.
And he can play all 3 positions.
Yeah. And you can see Josh Allen. You know, we're talking about this being a big, strong guy who can play the run. You look there at how he held up against the big tackle, trying to shove him backwards, was able to maintain some footing and contribute on the play. So here's 3rd down and short for the Eagles in Jaguars territory. And here's the handoff to Howard. He's got plenty of room. He gets to the 44-yard line, running over the right side of the Eagles' offensive line for 3 yards. Yeah, they just pushed.
Yeah. You know what? You really want to see how well your defense plays on short yardage situation. And unfortunately, that left side of the defensive line just got washed on down. The running back went cut back right. And
less than 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. No score. Eagles with a 1st down in Jaguars territory. 4 receivers in the back. There's the delivery. Pressure coming. Thorson turns and just launches this one, and it is broken up. It may have been dropped as much as anything, but Herndon was down the field in excellent position. He had coverage on Charles Johnson. You tell me, Leon. Good defense or just a bad catch?
I'm always going to go with good defense.
All right.
Especially for the Jaguars.
It looks like...
It was a little thrown behind, too.
Yeah, it looks like Herndon...
He got his arm in there to break it up. Good
messed
job.
It up a little bit. 5 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Jaguars defense lines up, backed up a bit. Here's the handoff to Miles Sanders. He starts to his right, comes back to his left, breaks 1 tackle, and gets 3 yards to the 41 before finally being stopped. And that is the end of the first quarter in Jacksonville. No score. Eagles and Jaguars have 15 more minutes of first half football. We'll have it for you when we return to TIAA Bank Field.
By TIAA Bank. Created to serve, built to perform. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Insurance Office of America. We make the complex world of insurance simple. Ticketmaster, the official marketplace of the Jaguars. Baptist Health. Changing healthcare for good.
Well, I know where I was when Fred ran for 90 yards. I know where you were, too. Do you know, folks, where you were when Jalen picked off the Buffalo Bills to end that playoff game? Moments like these bring us together as fans, as friends, and as the First Coast. The 25th season is just around the corner. You could be part of it. Become a season ticket holder. Visit jaguars.com/tickets for complete information. Brian Sexton, Leon Searcy, Brent Martineau, Ashlyn Sullivan, and you here on a preseason Thursday night. You see the numbers right there. Jaguars offense still struggling. 32 total yards, only 2 first downs, Leon.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of throws. It looked a little bit better, but it has not produced points yet either. Here's the Eagles and their offense at the Jags 41, 3rd down. Thorson, the rookie quarterback, on in place of the injured Cody Kessler, who left very early in the first quarter. Rolling to his right, Thorson turns and throws, and this one is caught. But it won't be enough for a first down, and a nice job by Tay Hayes, who got to the receiver, Charles Johnson, and held him up. 3 yards shy of the first down. We'll see what the Eagles and Doug Peterson decide to do. Breon Borders checks into the ball game now on 4th down as they deploy a tight end and 3 receivers. This is the 12th play of this drive that began for the Eagles on their own 5-yard line. Man in motion is Perkins, the tight end, lines up tight to the line of scrimmage. 4th down, pressure coming. Thorson turns and slings it. He's got a man wide open, and it is caught. And this one at the 10-yard line has the look of a touchdown for the Eagles. And it is. He threw it up. Greg Ward went and pulled it in. And Philadelphia's on the board.
Yeah, that was a great job by the Philadelphia Eagles offensive front. They picked up the blitz. They were in man. They're in man coverage. DB gets beat.
That's the safety, C.J. Revis, who got beat for a 38-yard touchdown on an all-out blitz by Jacksonville's defense. Extra point to make it 7-0 up on the way. It is good. Philadelphia strikes first with 14:05 to play in the first half here at TIAA Bank Field. We'll take a timeout and return to preseason football right after this. $7-0. Philadelphia leads a 12-play, 95-yard drive. They had them backed all the way up to their 5-yard line, and somehow Clayton Thorson was able to maneuver the Eagles over 12 plays, and just there, a 38-yard strike to Greg Ward, who somehow got behind the safety. Looks like just not tight enough coverage there.
I know. I don't understand his approach. I mean, he was actually in coverage like he had someone behind him. He's got to know that he's a man.
Keelan Cole watches the ball, and it drops at the 5-yard line. But it didn't go out of bounds, did it? They're putting the ball down at the 5-yard line. Cole stepped out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team.
Must have bounced, and we just couldn't get the depth perception
40-yard
here.
line, first down. The receiving team player was touching out of bounds and touched the ball even though it was in the field of play. By rule, the kick is out of bounds.
Did not know
Learned
that.
something new. You didn't know it. I didn't know it. That's kind of a nifty little move because it dropped straight down. I guarantee you that Joe DeCamillis, the Jags special teams coordinator, has drilled his players, though, and that Keelan Cole knew the rule, and that's why he stepped out and did it. And Brent Martineau's on the sideline. He was right there. What do you say?
You know, it does look a little different, guys, but they were practicing that with Joe DeCamillis and special teams last week in Baltimore. Just the acknowledgement that you can have a foot out of bounds and touch that football.
Rolling out, looking down the field. Minshew wanted Trey McBride. Now he finds him a strike. And McBride crosses the 50-yard line to about the 48 in a gain of 12.
There you go. Took his time, was patient, wait for the receiver to get open.
So they take advantage of the heads-up play by Keelan Cole. In one play, they are in Eagles territory.
A far cry from last week.
Oh, man. Fourth quarter comes around. They're still had not gotten into Eagles territory. The 48-yard line. Receivers at the bottom of the screen, 2 backs. And here's Thomas Rawls. Wants to go outside, then decided just to put his head down and push forward. And he's close to the 45-yard line. You get him down at the 46 for a gain of 2. Rawls is a compact runner. You can just see when you look at your screen the way that he runs. 5'9", 215. Just wasn't much room.
Nah, he just stuck his head in there and tried to get as much as he could. Not a very good job at offensive line pushing up front. Got to do a better job on the other side.
He stays in the game on 2nd and 8. Minshew rolling right, turns and slings a pass in the direction of McBride. He's got it at the 40-yard line. Tries to push his way up the field. Did he step out of bounds shy of the marker? Looks like he did at the 39. He'll be a yard shy on the 7-yard pickup. Look at the route.
Nice.
Yeah, nifty footwork there.
Yeah.
He's a guy who is challenging for that 6th spot. People thought it was Tyree Brady for the longest time, and Terrell Pryor has not played yet in the preseason. He's practiced a little bit. A guy like McBride, a veteran player, keeps making plays like this. If he can contribute on special teams, it'll be hard to keep him off the 53. And on 3rd and short, they go with the quarterback sneak, and it looks to be real close. But the official on the Jaguars sideline is across the 38-yard line, so it looks as if he'll get the first down, and that is the signal from our referee this evening, Walt Anderson. Hey, Minshew's not the biggest guy, may not have the biggest arm. He's showing some guts tonight. He's playing well.
Yes, he is.
Rolling out, making some throws. Showed some guts last week with the hits that he took as well. Has a different chin strap on tonight, though. Here's the handoff, and Rawls running right, tries to spin out of the defender's arms, and just gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Tough sledding on that right side.
Yeah.
Eagles had a bunch of their frontline guys on in the first quarter, but they have now put them on the sidelines. And so it'll be 2nd down. Ball shy of the 37-yard line. Call it 10. C.J. Board, Michael Walker, Trey McBride, the receivers on 2nd and 10. Eagles fill in the gaps for the safety. Now he's backing off. Aaron snap, Minshew pulls it in, now waits, patiently looking for Walker, who pull it in.
Gotta make that catch.
It looked like he had a shot at it.
He did have a shot.
Gotta reward your quarterback. Just missed it. Nice protection up front.
Great protection.
You like to see that pocket form as well as it did.
Yeah. And great patience by Gardner. As the pocket was collapsing around him, he still had the patience to get the ball in.
As an offensive lineman, you love it with the quarterback who's not looking to run and get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get the pocket set up. You stand in there. So here's 3rd down at the 37-yard line in Eagles territory. Jaguars trying to answer Philadelphia's touchdown drive with one of their own. Minshew takes the snap, pressure coming, is hit as he throws. The ball is out. Is it a live ball or not? The Eagles appear to have recovered a fumble and take it back towards midfield.
The ruling on the field,
swinging his arm out there. Nathan Gary.
Defense. The 1st down, Philadelphia. Timeout.
Nathan Gary recovered the fumble that was caused by Deshaun Hall. We'll find out what they do with this. 7-0 Eagles lead on the Jaguars television network. We're back in Jacksonville. As we went to break, I wondered whether Doug would throw the challenge flag. He didn't, and here's why. You can see clearly that the defender's helmet, Deshaun Hall, makes contact with the ball before his arm starts going forward. It's a fumble. The Eagles kill a promising drive and take over near midfield, looking for the rookie, and this one is broken up by Tay Hayes. Clayton Thorson was looking for the rookie from Stanford, who was running down the sideline. J.J. Arthega-Whiteside, but Tay Hayes had tight coverage.
Yeah, that was good coverage on that play. Plays the wide receiver all the way to the end, knocks the ball down. Great coverage.
So 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Thorson's got 1 back and 3 receivers and a man in the wing. And here's the delayed play action, and there's the throw over the middle, and the catch is made. And a flag is thrown as the receivers pulled down at the 44-yard line in Jacksonville territory after a gain of 6 yards. Mac Hollins caught the ball. We'll see what the flag's all
Pass
about.
interference, number 14, offense, blocking downfield. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So you can see it right here. The receiver at the top of your screen.
Yeah, that's a no-no. You cannot block while a pass is being thrown.
Young receiver, learning a lesson. A good OC. We'll hear about that one in the film room tomorrow. Takes a 6-yard gain and makes it a 10-yard loss. It's 2nd and 20, the line of scrimmage. The Jaguars 38-yard line. Thorson turns and fires the slant. It's caught, but the receiver is quickly brought down Shy of the 44. It's a gain of 5, almost 6 yards. Quentin Meeks out there quickly with the defense. That's a third down and very long. Seven nothing. Philly leads. Jaguars defense trying to give the ball back to Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, we need to stop right here.
Corners backing off. Dayton Jones setting up at the top of your screen. Thorsten takes the wayside delivery, steps up into the pocket, now turns and shuffles and throws. Catch is made, but only to the 50-yard line for Joshua Parker, and a gain of 6 yards, and it brings on the Eagles punt team. So the Jaguars defense did a nice job with the sudden bang-bang play, right? All of a sudden they have to defend the 48-yard line, and now they're forcing a punt.
Yep.
Get a look here at Thornton, who finds his target. Nice job by the safety, who makes the play. Winger. Michael Turner is back deep for the first time this evening. Michael Walker, undrafted rookie free agent from Boston College, is going to let this one bounce at the 5-yard line, and a heads-up play. He lured the Eagles coverage team back to the middle of the field to bounce at the 5. They had no shot at it. Jags take over, 1st and 10 at their own 20 when we return. All Access, presented by Fields Auto Group, airs live from Mellow Mushroom in Avondale on Thursdays at 7 on Fox 30. Join Brent, Jeff Lageman, Calais Campbell, and guests as they recap the week and preview the next game. Come on out, be a part of the action every Thursday at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Brian Sexton, Leon Searcy back with you. Jaguars trail 7-0. Defense, as I mentioned, did a nice job with keeping the Eagles from creating problems.
Yeah.
And folks are enjoying what they're seeing from the defense this evening.
Great sudden change by the defense.
Absolutely. Thomas Rawls in the backfield. Gardner Minshew turns and throws. What a catch by C.J. Ford. It looked like he had to just snatch that away from the defensive back, and he does for a pickup of 9 to the 29. Watch this. This is a nice job because it looked like that defensive back, Jeremiah McKinnon, was going to take it from him.
Great hands.
Certainly appreciate a guy who goes and takes the ball away. 2nd and short. Tight ends are top of the screen and the receivers are outside the numbers. Here's Rawls looking for a cutback, and he is caught trying to get back to the left side. And a nice job by T.J. Edwards, the rookie linebacker from Wisconsin, making the stop for the Eagles. It brings up 3rd down. Not a lot of room there in the middle.
No, it's not. And, you know, we said at the top of the hour how important it was for the front four to get it done. You know, we knew the guys, the the Shatlin, the Richardsons, and the Thomas. Right now they're not performing that well.
Someone's got to grab that job. Minshew in the shotgun. 3 targets to the top of your screen. There's the snap, pressure coming, he's on the run. He's got a target, it's Ford. He makes the first down grab at the 30 and then turns up the field to the 34. He could have run for it himself. Yeah. A smart quarterback dumps it off.
That's why I like what he's doing right now. He's improvising. He's getting a little pressure. He's not panicking. He's rolling out. He's looking at his receiver, keeping his eyes down the field, and he's making the toss. I like that.
He looks comfortable, and of course, you're talking about a guy who started at Troy, went to North Mississippi Junior College, went to East Carolina, and then in the 4th year played at Washington State in one of the most complex offenses in college football, the air raid. So this is a guy who's comfortable on the football field in nearly every circumstance because he's proven it in his college career. Here's play action. Minshew under a bit of pressure. Steps, turns, and throws. He's got a receiver. It's caught McBride at midfield. Turns up the field at the 45-yard line and has big yardage to the 43 of Philadelphia.
You know what I like that he's doing? He's getting pressured now. That right side of the offensive line is giving up pressure, but he's hanging in the pocket.
You like that?
I like that. That shows a lot of touch. He's hanging in the pocket. He's waiting for the receiver to run the route, and he's making the throw. I like that.
He really does look like he had a great week on the practice.
It does.
It's translating.
It's showing. Right? Practice does help.
And that's what they said about him when they drafted him in April. This is a guy who can take what we teach him in the meeting room out to the practice field, and then the key question is, can he bring it out to the game field? He's showing us so far a gain of 24 there. There's an inside handoff and not much room for Rawls. But that's the key. This is a smart young man.
Yeah.
It's why they like him. Does he have the strongest arm? No. No, he doesn't have that big cannon of an arm. But he appears to have that, what's the word, moxie?
Yeah. Yeah,
Which you want from a quarterback.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy position to play. So put the ball down to the 41-yard line. Call it 2nd and 9. 5:40 left to play. First half, 7-0 Philly leads. Jaguars playing better on offense than they did a week ago, but they still have no points. Give him 5 yards there because Deshaun Hall, the defensive end, raced across the line of scrimmage early.
Offside, number 74, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Now, see, I think this is where, if you're John
Correction, neutral zone
DeFilippo,
infraction, number 74.
the new offensive coordinator, you got a quarterback like Minshew that will stand in the pocket, that can improvise. 2nd down and 4, I kind of like that play. That down and distance works for me.
Yeah, I like it too.
I'm going to let him improvise. Tight end to the top of your screen. 2 receivers to either side for Minshew, who surveys that defense. Takes the snap, turns and throws quickly. It's a little go screen, a little move, and look at him go! There's McBride headed to the end zone. Touchdown,
There we go.
Jacksonville.
First one of the year. Oh, we got a flag.
2 flags. It's a 36-yard strike. What do the flags mean? Minshew is standing at the 40, kind of looking. McBride wondering. Yeah, you wonder if maybe there was a block somewhere in the back, holding.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 61, offense. That penalty is declined. Blocking the back, number 83, offense. That penalty is enforced 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, holding on Wester. He's having a rough day today. Couple of pressures, holding.
And blocking the back
Yeah.
on Ben Koyak right there. You can see it. It freed him up. Hey, it doesn't count. The game doesn't count. I like to see the play, right?
Yeah.
Even though we got free, I like to see the offense with something that seems like success.
Yeah.
I think that'll be big for a guy like Minshew. Hey, you sat there the last 2 weeks. He comes in with a bandana. He's cool. He's comfortable. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I like that too.
But it's better for a guy like that when he gets a play and points on the board. So it's 2nd down and 9 at the 41-yard line. We've been here before. Minshew stands in the pocket, turns and delivers, and it's through the intended target's hands. Donnie Ernsberger, who was signed after the injury to Josh Oliver. You tell me, should he have pulled this one in, or was it a little high? Well, it may have been a little high in a way.
Yeah, a little outside, but you know, you got to give your quarterback some help. He's getting pressure. He's standing in the pocket.
Yeah, he did.
And he's trying to make the throw. You know, help him out a little bit.
3rd down, 9. Minshew looks comfortable. You can give him that. He stayed in the pocket that time again. Pocket collapsing again, and he's going to get hit and sacked. Did he stay too long that time?
Yeah, he stayed a little bit too long. Yeah, but the offensive line isn't helping.
Yeah, pressure from the outside.
Yeah. The tackles have just not played that well. Wester is not having a good game. He's just giving up too much pressure.
And it's going to put a lot of pressure on Cam Robinson. We don't know when he's going to be ready to go. He's off the PUP list, which is great news, but whether he'll be ready for opening day remains to be seen. Here's Logan Cook's kick. And this one will bounce and take a great bounce at about the 3-yard line and roll back towards the Eagles sideline at the 5. We'll be back right after this Bud Light mini interview. Tonight, Nick Foles joins Calais Campbell. Watch the full interview on YouTube. Thorson under pressure in the end zone. A flag is thrown. This is going to be a safety. It's going to be holding against the Eagles in the end zone, and that's going to be 2 points plus the ball for the Jaguars.
Now, did you think we'd get our first points by safety?
No. No, I wouldn't have bet on that.
Holding, number 83, offense. That penalty is declined. It's second down.
Huh? Okay.
Wow. I thought that was 2 points.
Yeah, me too. Holding in the end zone is usually a safety, right? Must have changed the rules.
Yeah, apparently not. Well, they declined the penalty because they're backed up and they want the play. They don't want to give them first down with just 2 yards.
Penalty is confirmed that it is declined. Second down.
Thought Doug Marrone was going to throw his challenge flag there for a moment. The penalty, and here's the deal. I thought the holding was in the end zone. The holding was outside the end zone. So that's why it wasn't called a safety. If the holding had been done inside the end zone, that's where the safety is, but it was right there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was close.
I just saw the replay.
It was close.
So a gain of 3 brings up third down and long. And the line of scrimmage would be about the 8-yard line. That's it. It was right at the goal line, but they determined that it was not in the end zone. So here's Thorson, and the Jaguars with a golden opportunity to get the ball back. Tail end of the first half and give Gardner Minshew another chance to make good. After his touchdown to Trey McBride was called back. Empty backfield, Thorson, quick drop, looks, turns, and throws, and this one is caught, and Arcega Whiteside has an Eagles first down across the 15-yard line to the 16. Arcega Whiteside just got open on the slant. Eagles in a hurry up, no huddle. 3:10 to play, first half. Here's the handoff and no room. Give him a yard. Jaguars converging right there at the spot.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys getting up off the ground there, and you can see Dayton Jones. He's been all over the field tonight.
Yeah, that was a good inside move by him.
Making his move. Trying to earn a job here. After stints with the Packers, Vikings, Lions. Pressure coming. Thorson turns and launches this one down the sideline, and it's incomplete. It's going back to Whiteside, who was kind of pushing on Quentin Meese, but no flag thrown. It'll bring up third down and 9. 2.5 to play first half. Still a great opportunity here. Stop them, make them punt. Perhaps Walker or Keelan Cole, whoever returns the punt, can give you a shot to take some shots.
Yeah, and it'll give our offense an opportunity to run their 2-minute offense.
So third down 9. Line of scrimmage, the Eagles' 17-yard line. Jags playing press. Pressure coming. Thorson turns and launches this one, and he's incomplete. They're looking for penalty flags, and boy, here comes one. There are 2 now. He was looking for his
Pass interference, number 30. Defense. First down at the spot of the foul.
He was looking for Carlton Agadosi, who's a 6'6" receiver, matched up with Tay Hayes, who last week had Miles Boykin at 6'4". This is a bigger challenge at 6'6". Hayes comes in at 5'9". 2:26 to play, first and 10. Ball to 36, play action. And the quarterback's going down, and he's going down hard. He went down in a big way, and it's DeJuan Smoot, who's had a nice week on the practice field. That's a sack. Thorson wanted to throw, pulled it back, ran up the middle, and was caught from behind.
You know what? The best pass rush is good coverage. That was great coverage down the field.
And we talked with Josh Allen about that.
Yes, just a 2-minute warning.
The names, Boye, Ramsey, he bought on that one for sure. We'll take a break, come back. 2 minutes to play in Jacksonville in the first half after this. Coming up on the Insurance Office of America halftime report, Brent catches up with the head coach. Once again, we feature the Jags All-25 team, a teammate of yours, one of my favorites, Keenan McCardell. And we'll talk about Foles' impact in Philadelphia, where, you know, all week long there were Philadelphia reporters and media here that all wanted to talk to and about Foles. And he's a legend. They love him in Philadelphia. Right there with Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, they do. We had Ike Reese on earlier today, and we talked about how much they love Nick Foles. It's like your firstborn.
You bet. He'll never pay for a meal in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
And I would be at Jim's Steaks if I were him on a regular basis. 2 minutes to play, 2nd and 11 here in the first half. Eagles at their own 35-yard line. The blitz is coming, the dump off, and there is room. Missed tackles as flags fly also out to the 39-yard line.
Probably holding, right?
Yeah, this one's coming
Holding,
back.
number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Thorson dumped it off to Wendell Smallwood, but it's being brought back. Holding is the call. Yeah, Halapuli Vativaiti is the tackle who had his arm wrapped around. You want to try that name?
No.
Okay. I don't blame you. 1:53 to play. 2nd and 21 to the 25-yard line. What are the odds I'd have to say that name tonight? Pressure coming. There's the throw. Whiteside, the rookie from Stanford, makes the catch, gets out across the 35 to the 36. Andrew Winger comes over to help Tay Hayes with the stop. Gain of 12 brings up 3rd and a much more manageable 10 yards. Arthega-Whiteside is 6'2". Agadosi, 6'6". They've got tall receivers here. Tay Hayes, he battled you now, but he is at a disadvantage at only 5'9". 148. See if the Jaguars can get him off the field and give Gardner Minshew a 2-minute opportunity. And movement along the defensive front. Looks like Ilianku might have jumped, which is a whole lot easier for me to say than Halapuli Vativaiti, who was across from him.
Those are skills, Brian.
Practice.
False start,
Practice.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So they're saying the center moved the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if we can tell. Yeah, he kind of pulled on the ball. And Anku was watching it. That's exactly how defensive linemen are coached.
Yeah, that's
watch the ball.
That's old veteran move back in the day. You're not supposed to get caught with that.
The offensive line.
Yeah.
3rd down, 14. Corners are backed off 5 yards. Safety's backing up further than that. And play is blown dead. And this is going to be against the Eagles as well.
77, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Andre Dillard, the first-round pick of the Eagles, the promising young left tackle, gets the flag.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew's teammate, Washington State.
And Washington State, you bet. And a top talent.
Yeah.
3rd down, 19. 4 flags on this drive for the Eagles. A little sloppy. Safeties splitting in the middle of the field. And they go with the run, and the Jaguars jam him backwards. They got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe. No gain on the play. Jacksonville will burn a timeout with 1:41 to play. And they have 3 of them, so why not?
Charge timeout, Jacksonville, 32nd timeout.
Michael Walker will have a chance. If it's a decent kick, give the Jags a little field position, and you want to see the quarterback in the 2-minute. He looks like a 2-minute quarterback.
Yeah, you want to.
A runaround guy.
You want to see him. You want to see him execute the 2-minute drill. You know, only 2. You know, you want to see the guys catch the ball, get out of bounds. You want to see them run into the huddle, all that kind of stuff. This is all about tempo. The 2-minute drill is all about tempo.
They have no points, and early on they didn't look all that good. But they've kind of pulled out of it. And Gardner Minshew really has led them. He's done it.
Yeah, they've had their
given
moments.
Them opportunities.
They've had their moments.
So Michael Walker and Trey McBride are both back. And here's a high-hanging kick, and Walker will race to get underneath it with a fair catch, but he's hit by his own man, and McBride picks it up off the ground. His own man was back there, and they ran into one another. And C.J. Board hit him. The ball's there on the field. Watch it here. He got blocked into him, pushed into him. And luckily for the Jaguars, Trey McBride was there. But C.J. Board was just thrown backwards by Cedric Agadosi. to the line of scrimmage. Not as great a field position as we'd hoped at the 27-yard line. Minshew calls for the snap, stands in the pocket, fires it. Walker's got it, 35, makes a move to the 40, tries to break it, and he does. He's up the sideline to the 50, and Michael Walker's out of bounds in Philly territory at the 48-yard line, a gain of 25 yards. Nice way to make up for the previous
Absolutely.
play.
That's what you want to see from your receiver. You want to see him catch the ball, break the tackle. Then he had the smarts to run out of bounds because he knows when to win the situation. Saves the timeout.
Gave us a little D.D. Westbrook kind of move there across the middle of the field. Nice job. Long play. Longest play of the night for the Jaguars offense. Minshew under pressure, shuffles, dumps it off. Rawls has got it, turns up the field at the 40 to the 39. Plenty of time with 1:14, the clock running, and the Jaguars with 2 timeouts left. They'll put it down at the 40, so it's a gain of 8. Minshew looks to the sideline, sets McBride and Walker to the bottom of your screen. C.J. Board to the top, has Rawls with him in the shotgun. Takes the snap, hands it off, and Rawls has some room, and the play is dead at the 36, and a flag comes in at the end.
Yeah. It's in the backfield, so it's probably holding.
Number 69, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Tyler Shatley.
Tyler Shatley.
So now this one's coming back close to midfield with 53 seconds left to play in the first half. And Minshew has another mountain to climb here. He'll face 2nd and 12. Doug Marrone talked about wanting to overcome the unforced errors. They've had some penalties here this evening that have cost them. This one could be one of them. Minshew turns and slings it to Rawls, who pulls it in and is tackled immediately at the 45-yard line, and it's a gain of 5 yards.
This is the second charge timeout, Jacksonville, 32nd timeout.
Well, hurry into your neighborhood gate and say cheers to 25 years with a Jaguars 25th season collectible cup filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. Get into your neighborhood gate today. We'll say cheers to 25 years with an old teammate of yours. Number 15.
Number 15, yeah, Kevin Hardy.
Yeah. You were number 14.
Yeah, I'll be sure to congratulate him.
I bet you will. We'll have some fun in the third quarter when Keith Hard shows up. Here's 3rd and 7. Jaguars at the 45-yard line of the Eagles, looking for their first points of the preseason. Minshew with some time. Now turns and slings it, and he's got a man, and the catch is made. And he's down at the 26-yard line. That's C.J. Board, who pulled it in. Stops the clock with 39 seconds, plus the first down, and your man Minshew hung in there.
He hung in there. I'm loving that. I'm loving his poise, hanging in the pocket. That was an NFL throw.
Yes.
That was an NFL throw.
And I think for C.J.'s sake, we should say that was an NFL catch.
Yeah, give it to him.
39 seconds left to play. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line after the 20-yard completion. Nice job up front. Minshew with some time steps, turns and delivers in the middle of the field. Catch is made. It'll be 1st and goal for the Jaguars at the 10-yard line. Ben Koyak came up, the tight end, making a catch. We've seen he and James O'Shaughnessy
This is the third and final timeout, Jacksonville.
Doug said he wanted to see that from the tight end position. Somebody do more than block. Make a play. There's Koyak. Jaguars use their final timeout with 32 seconds left to play here in the first half. 7-0, Philly leads it. Jaguars appear, Leon, that they're going to come away with points. You can see he completed 50% of his passes for just 46 yards. Hey, he has more than 45 yards on this drive. So a dramatic improvement for him. He's got 63 yards on this drive. He's in the shotgun. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Stands, shuffles. Now he's on the run. He's tripped up and dropped. He'll go down back at the 20-yard line. Clock is running. Jaguars have no timeouts left to work with. He tripped over his own man.
Spike it.
They're going to have to spike it. Stop the clock with 15 seconds left. I think, we'll look at the replay, I think he tripped over an offensive lineman who just got here this week. Ben Ajelana.
It was an incomplete pass.
Yep.
Third down.
Ajelana.
Yeah, he does.
Well, it looked like they were going to come away with a touchdown.
Well,
now it may be a field goal.
Yeah. Left tackle got beat badly.
Ajelana just signed this week with the injuries last week. Veteran player, 9 years in the NFL, just got beat. Smart with the ball now. You want Minshew to get points. He dumps it out. Koyak has got it. He stays in bounds for a yard or two to the 18. Stops the clock with 9 seconds left to play, and they're going to send Josh Lambo on the opening kickoff. Muscle memory, right? I said Josh Scobie.
Oh.
Sorry, Lambo. Josh the kicker. What are the odds? That
you're right.
Right? Josh the kicker. That'll be his new name. Lambo, who has been an excellent kicker since signing here 2 years ago. It's a 36-yard attempt for the first Jaguars points of the preseason. The snap, the placement, the kick up on the way, and give Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars 3 points. With 5 seconds left to play in the first half. Nice way to end the half.
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
if they don't find the end
Even though
zone.
they didn't get 7 points, he did drive them down. They did score 3 points. So that was good.
You have to like the moxie that Minshew keeps showing here.
Yeah, and that's good for his confidence, too, as well, because they were backed up, drive the ball down, get yourself in the field goal position. I would have liked to see him score a touchdown, but the penalties and the sacks and all that kind of added up. But he did an outstanding job of holding himself in the pocket.
Well, and the throws that he made, the throw to C.J. Board at the 25-yard line, standing in the pocket, the throw to Koyak at the 10-yard line, the little dump off to Mike Walker for 25 yards. He just was patient and let the game come to him, and he took what was there.
And another thing that he's going through his progressions. He's going through his progressions. He's not rushing the ball. He's hanging in the pocket, and he's making the right play.
A week ago, I wondered what Tom Coughlin, Dave Caldwell, and Doug Marrone saw in the young man. Tonight, we'd see it. Here's a knuckleball kick. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And they'll take it and burn the clock in the process and end the first half. 7-3, the Eagles lead the Jaguars. But already, even though they're trailing at the end of the first half, already a markedly better half of football than we saw in Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely. It's like night and day. Gardner Minshew from last week to this week. I mean, he's taking, and Coach Marrone talked about this. When we talked to him, taking command of the huddle, converting on third downs, seeing your receivers, all that kind of stuff. So he's done an outstanding job in this first half.
And defensively, guys have made some plays. C.J. Rivas gave up the play. He let the wide receiver Ward get behind him on the touchdown throw, but I thought the defense has done a nice job. Taven Bryan and Josh Allen have both flashed this season.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that the defense did was during sudden change when they gave up the sack fumble and they recovered it. The defense came and they were stout, didn't allow them to get a first down and got the ball back to the offense.
All right, let's hear from the head coach who joins Brent Martineau on the sideline. Brent?
A week ago in Baltimore, Jaguars didn't make enough plays here in the first half. Tonight against the Eagles, some plays made. Some drives weren't able to be sustained, but you had to like the way you finished the first half, getting some points on the board, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good 2-minute drive for Gardner. I thought early on, defensively we gave up some big runs, and, we got a lot of young guys in there that got to, be ready to play. But I thought Borders defended a good pass. Herndon defended a pass, which was good. I think CJ, had a really good game last week. I'm sure he wants to do a better job out there this one. And then, offensively, really, I talked about it before. Gardner put the ball, there's 2 big plays in there that we should make that we just got to make the catch. And then, the one play to Keelan was out of bounds. That's on Gardner. So, there's plays to be made there. That's what we're looking at. We've got to get back in here, at halftime, come back in here, make some plays, give guys opportunities. If they want to make the team, that's what they got to do.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, guys. Back up to you.
Thanks, Brent. You just heard it from the head coach. Jags trail 7-3. They want more plays in the second half. We're going to find out. We're back with halftime after this.
TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Insurance Office of America. We make the complex world of insurance simple. Ticketmaster, the official marketplace of the Jaguars.
And we're back with third quarter action at TIAA Bank Field. The Jaguars trail the Eagles 7-3. Leon Gardner Minshew's numbers from the first half as he'll start the third quarter under a lot of pressure. He was sacked 3 times, was having to scramble some. 15 of 22 for 167 yards. Threw the touchdown, was brought back, didn't throw an interception, did lose the fumble when the ball hit the defender's helmet. Solid half for him.
Oh, absolutely. He was the star of the first half.
One note on the offense, Alfred Blue left the ball game with an ankle in the first half and did not return and obviously will not return. And here's a play with a little toss back to the receiver across the 30-yard line out to the 35 for a first down and a nice little sweep to Kadri Henderson. Fake the handoff to Devontae Mays. Here comes Henderson. Give him a first down at the 35-yard line. See if they can build on some momentum that they built there at the end of the first half. 13 yards on 1st and 10. Receivers at the top of the screen. Ernsberger, the tight end at the bottom. Here's play action. Minshew with time, dumps it off to Mays at the 40. Makes a man miss, leaps the defender. He's got a first down, more up the sideline, and is out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, good job by that offensive line. Good play action, good protection. Gave him solid time. 14
yards on the game. So back-to-back 14-yard games, and the Jaguars find themselves near midfield. Nice job by Devontae Mays. Former Green Bay Packer, who in Jacksonville is going to see plenty of time this preseason. 5'11", 237. Sounds like the kind of guy you might like to have as a backup for Leonard Fournette and his running style. Tight end in motion. And here's the handoff. Mays is caught around the ankles before he could get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, probably lost a half a yard. Sean Hall, the big defensive end from Texas A&M, who's made a couple of plays, including forcing the fumble, stops Mays for a loss of 1. Ethan Wolf checks into the ball game now. Tight end, H-back, fullback, signed this week. Jaguars had plenty of roster moves this week. He lines up right, 2 backs in the backfield now. 2nd and 11 at the 48-yard line. Here's the handoff, and Mays is stymied again. He got back to the line of scrimmage that time, but nothing better than that. Brings up 3rd down at 12. No push up front.
No push.
What do you think of Will Richardson there? Pulling, big man pulling.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I'd like to see him a little lower. I mean, he is 6'5", 6'6". I'd like to see him about 6'2" on that play.
How hard is that for a 6'6" guy?
Got to bend those knees. Got to bend the knees.
So here's 3rd down for Minshew. 3 receivers to the top of your screen, 1 man by himself on the bottom. Michael Walker up top in motion. Pressure coming. Minshew has to just throw the ball away at the feet of his offensive line. There was no time for Minshew to even look. T.J. Edwards, the rookie linebacker, came hauling in, and the Jaguars drive, which looked promising with a couple of 14-yard plays, stalls, and Logan Cook is on to punt. Cook has a big leg now. We have seen it since the day he arrived here as a 7th-round pick from Mississippi State. He's got a cannon for a leg. But Jody Camillus doesn't just say kick it down the field. He likes to angle it. He likes to put it in particular spots and play to his coverage strengths. But I like to see this kid punt the ball because he can really drive it high. Cook's going to huddle them all up here.
Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
After taking that 5-yard, you wonder if he wanted the 5 yards so he could drive it. Not a lot of wind tonight. You know, we had plenty of rain in Jacksonville earlier in the day.
Clock to
yeah, subsided. Now it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nice now. Now we say that with a fan behind us.
Oh yeah, we need it.
12. Thank you.
12-11. Left to play, 3rd quarter. 7-3, Philly leads it. Eagles about to get it for the first time here in the second half. See what Cook does with the extra 5 yards. Bit of a knuckleball. Scott's going to let it bounce, and it goes lateral to the sideline and out at the 15-yard line. So another inside the 20-yard line. 7-3, Jaguars trail.
AA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Insurance Office of America. We make the complex world of insurance simple. Ticketmaster, the official marketplace of the Jaguars.
7-3, Philadelphia with the lead. Just over 12 minutes to play in the third quarter, and this will be the first drive of the second half for the Eagles. We have seen their rookie from Northwestern, Clayton Thorson, on the field since the early going. Dayton Jones tackled Cody Kessler, one-time Jaguar, from behind. He hit his head on the turf, and he's out. So Thorson is getting it the rest of the way. First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Thorson, a quick throw out into the flat. Jaguars giving chase, and a nice open field tackle there by the Jaguars. And a nice job by Joe Giles Harris, the undrafted rookie, making it a gain of just about 4 yards. Speaking of linebackers, we got one coming in.
Yeah, we do. A great, all-time Jaguar great.
Second and 6 from the 19-yard line.
You don't know how bad that hurt me to say, too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Nice job by the Jaguars collapsing on the run. He wore 51, and if you reverse that, it's 15, which is where he came in the All-25. Kevin Hardy joins us. Now, how are you, boss?
I'm doing great. How about you, Brian? Good to see you.
What's going on, Kevin Hardy? How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good.
Congratulations. All-25.
I appreciate
Number
it.
15.
I should have been 14. You should have been 15.
No. Let's get it right.
I just get that. We had to get that out the way.
No,
right?
I got you.
Real quick.
Listen.
Sears has been waiting on that one.
When it was going on, the countdown, after the countdown was going on, I just said, as long as I'm in front of K-Hard, I'm good. Because I always had that on you.
I felt the same way.
Joe Giles Harris can't corral the back out of the backfield. No one else can for that matter either. And it's a big gain out near the 40-yard line. Put it to 39, and it's first down and 10 for the Eagles. All right, give us your analysis, not of the defense at this moment, but of Gardner Minshew. Wasn't all that impressive last week with only 46 yards. Had 163 in the first half, 15 of 22. What do you think of the young gunslinger?
All right, so I'm going to be honest. I haven't had a chance to really watch because I've been a celebrity today.
So it's perfect for you to come and give us some analysis. Nice.
Exactly. But I watched last week, and, obviously, the kid has a lot of energy. He's raw. He has some talent, but I think, obviously just needs a little more seasoning, and that's what it's for. He's coming as a rookie. That's what the preseason is for.
Well, he's getting lots of time in the preseason, and, we talked earlier. The preseason isn't what the preseason was.
Not even close.
Starters didn't play last week. They're not playing this week. They're not playing in 2 weeks.
And I don't understand that because from a standpoint of in training camp, they don't do a lot of contact. It's not real physical. And this is the NFL. It's just hard to just, nobody has a light switch where you can just come out and turn it on week one. So I don't understand why guys don't play as much as they don't in the preseason.
I asked Leon, how much time would you need to be ready?
For me, as a defensive player, just something about getting those shoulders, loosened up, and so you got to be hitting. And I know a lot of guys say you get it in practice, but there's something different about the game, the atmosphere about the game, the speed of the game, and just getting out there and getting your body conditioned to play football. Because the other thing, that happens in the preseason is the games are at night. And then here comes opening day, and it's 1:00 on a Sunday afternoon in the sun here in Jacksonville.
Now tell the truth. Now early on in your career, you didn't mind playing in the preseason, but as you became a wily old vet, you were looking for the guy behind you to get most of the reps.
Well, Big Sir, I understand. You're 100% right. And I understand why the players don't want to do it. And but fortunate for us, we didn't want to do it, but we had a coach that that said that we had to do it.
Oh yeah.
And I think that helped us have success early in the seasons like we had.
After this play, I want to talk about opening day in Kansas City and that heat. Here's your throw out to the receiver at the 40-yard line. Jaguars all over that one. Your first game in the NFL and Leon's first game in a Jaguars uniform was opening day 1996 against the Steelers. coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. They were carrying those guys off to the sideline. Remember, Chad Brown couldn't finish the game, all-pro linebacker. The heat really can be a factor here, a significant factor. Can it slow Kansas City down?
I think it can, and I'm sure that they're going to be in those red uniforms, because I remember that was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Coughlin said that we were going to wear white and we were going to put Pittsburgh in that black, and you know, those dark colors, they attract the sun. A lot of teams, we're not the only team that takes it easy in the preseason. A lot of teams take it easy in the preseason, a lot of the starters. And these guys are professionals, but sometimes you just don't know what you're in for when you come down here to Jacksonville opening day.
We're going to watch a replay here as this 6'6" wide receiver comes up with a 15-yard grab. It looked as if the ball.
The pass is incomplete. It's fourth down.
All right, so they'll call it incomplete.
I'm not going to lie. That 1996 game against the Steelers, I was kind of happy to see some of my former teammates cramp up, because you know what? I was walking by them, and they were calling me all out my name. One of Deion Figures actually walked by me and said, "Cersei, you went from the man of steel to a putty cat." So I was glad we won that game.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Well, we'll find out whether Carlton Agudosi carried it in or not after we return in a moment. Now, Doug Peterson challenged whether the receiver caught the ball on the Jaguars sideline. The ruling on the field was that he did not. Let's look again. This is Carlton Agudosi, who's a young receiver, but at 6'6", has the ability to make a play. Do you see if he had control of the ball before the second foot went out of bounds?
You know, I see this kind of stuff at home all the time, and I feel like I'm a armchair professional.
Well, you now get to be a professional. We're not paying you, but give us your analysis.
I think it's a catch. It was called a catch on the field.
No, it was called incomplete on the field, which is why Doug Peterson challenged it. I think Walt Anderson's going to tell us it's a catch.
After reviewing the play, it is a catch at the 45-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 8:23. It'll be first down.
You 1 for 1.
Clock will start
1 for 1
on the whistle, and Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
So the ball just dropped in. Just the receiver was right there. I think the intended target was a little bit further up the field, but at 6'6", with his length, he was able to corral that football. Doug Marrone clearly disagrees.
But I mean, what is he disagreeing about? I mean, well, obviously he didn't have the benefit of seeing the replay. Maybe he did on the big screen, but it looked like he caught it from here.
I'm pretty sure they didn't show it on the big screen here in the stadium. Teams tend not to do that if it looks like it might not go their way. About the only thing that could happen here, right, is if that receiver wasn't in bounds.
Oh, so like an illegal
touch. In other words,
yeah.
But they didn't call it.
They did.
And they had plenty of time to review it. And so it's 1st and 10 for the Eagles. 8:22 to play, third quarter. They're up 7-3 at the Jaguars' 45-yard line. And here's the screen. The receiver's going to throw it, and this one will be
picked off.
Oh, Tay Hayes
had a shot at it.
Looked like he was going to take it away.
Yeah, he wasn't fooled, though.
Greg Ward, who scored the only touchdown of the game, took the handoff and threw it. But Tay Hayes had great position. It's incomplete.
Kind of razzle-dazzle in the preseason.
Yeah, I know. They're showing their hand.
Ward was a quarterback at Houston, so not a surprise that they might try it. Nice job. And that's Carlton Agudosi, the big, tall kid, the 6'4" or 6'6" kid that Tay Hayes had trouble with in the first half.
I think Deshaun Jackson has done that before.
Here's a quick throw over the middle, and the Jaguars cover it up after a short gain of about 3 yards. It'll bring up third down, 7. This linebacking core has Miles Jack in the middle, and I think we know that he's a player with a lot of ability. But right now, with the injuries, with Quincy Williams, we don't know who's out there. We don't know how deep this group is. There's some veterans out there, though. Ramik Wilson, Najee Good. How long does it take for a linebacking core, Kev, to put it all together if you've got one guy who played last year?
And see, that's the other part about it, about guys not playing together in the preseason. I know they practice together, but it's something about being out there making the calls and understanding, gap responsibility and where guys are going to be. Like you said, Miles Jackson is an excellent athlete and a very good football player. But it takes time, to gel with that. He's making checks, he's making calls, and for other guys to, to be in line and being able to fit right in with that. So, that hurts not having, the guys in the preseason. And hopefully, some of these guys will get back and be able to get out there next week and the following week before week 1.
Gain of 4. Nice job by Tay Hayes to take down Agadosi and set up 4th down. Eagles going for it. Pressure coming up the middle. There's a throw and a wide open receiver. It's going to set up 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Deep in Jacksonville territory. Will Tye, the intended target. The tight end was wide open for 26 yards on 4th down. Take a look at it here.
Looked like it was deep in coverage. I mean, the guy, just a little out of place. But again, that kind of stuff is a timing thing.
Here's 1st and 10. Handoff and room right up the middle. Plenty of room for Josh Adams, who's a big back at 6'2", 225. He picks up 5. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
The good thing about the defense, like right now, I mean, you got a quarterback that these guys are going to have some confidence in. I know in the last few years, you go out there and you feel like you had to stop the team all the time because you didn't have confidence in your offense.
Well, and they felt like they had to score at times too, because the offense just frankly the last year didn't do enough. Here's a throw into the end zone and incomplete. Once again, they're going to Carlton Agadosi, the big guy, 6'6", and the safety in the back, Josh Robinson. Robinson plays safety, he plays corner. Doug Marrone told us, Leon, yesterday that he's done a nice job at both since signing relatively early in camp, but late from the offseason.
Yeah, he is. He has.
Picking up the nuances of what they want to do here. So it brings up 3rd down and 6 from the 9-yard line. 7-3 Eagles looking to add to it here. 5.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Preseason game number 2. Flag.
He challenging pass interference.
So there's a challenge, and it is Doug Peterson, the Eagles head coach, 2nd challenge. The only thing we can think of would be challenging pass interference. What do you think about that rule? That seems to me to be so subjective, and weren't they trying to take subjectivity out of the officials' hands?
No foul.
Exactly, and obviously we know if PI is called in New Orleans last year, that would never be a rule right now.
Back after this. We'll see what Walt Anderson sees in just a moment. He's still looking into the monitor. Guys, those are the ticky-tack little things. I mean, that didn't look like he dramatically impacted the play.
There was defensive pass interference that occurred in the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal for Philadelphia at the 1-yard line. The ball will be placed on the left tag.
We're going to show it to you.
Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout. And because this was their 2nd successful challenge, they are eligible for 1 additional challenge in the game.
So you can see that there's contact.
Yeah, but who's creating the contact?
We set the game clock to 5:30.
He's holding the shoulder there, so it's probably hard for them to ignore, but those are the officials couldn't see that in live action. So now, with the help of replay, they're able to see this, or maybe a little holding on the offensive line.
I mean, they handcuff.
Although you can't challenge that.
They're handcuffing the defense anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like he was making a natural movement. He's running, he turned to find the football. I don't see how you call it.
Instead of 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. And the big back punches his way in for another Philadelphia touchdown.
See, to me, it's going to take away from the game. I mean, we already know the game changes every year. And like I was saying, if pass interference is called last year in that New Orleans game, that would never be.
This all goes away.
This all wouldn't be here. And to have to take away from the game in that manner, I just don't like it at all.
Well, so this is the only penalty that you can challenge now. But if a coach has the result that Doug Peterson just got, don't you think the coaches would vote if they could to be able to challenge any penalty?
That's possible. That's possible.
So wait a minute. So we're going to get to offensive lineman holding. We're going to get that.
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. But if
well, we know y'all hold every play, Leon. So I mean,
only if you call.
The game would be a 4-hour game if
only
if
it's called.
Please put 5-3-0 on the game clock.
a special shout out to all the fans watching live on Jaguars.com and our official mobile app. And a reminder to the rest of you who aren't, thanks to Universal Orlando Resorts, the entire 2019 preseason schedule is streamed. Simply visit Jaguars.com or download the official app and enable location services. I'm not sure if I can put it into words, though, that what we just saw in the end zone goes on every play. Every single play.
It does, especially when you're playing man-to-man in that part of the field, because a lot of times you get in a quick trail position technique. So you're running and you already have your hand kind of, with the receiver, because you got to feel him, because when you turn and find the football, it's almost impossible, because if you don't feel him and you turn, he could have went the other way. And so to me, that just takes away from the game so much.
And you got to also take into consideration how the referee's calling it. He might be allowing a little contact. He might be allowing a little fist fight. So now you're going to take all of that out of the equation. Now these coaches make it.
And that was almost what I would consider incidental contact, because both the guys, it wasn't like, I don't think he impeded him from running to the corner. I don't think he really impeded him from making that catch. Because at the end, he reached out with his left hand, knocked it down. I think it was a clean play.
Rain starting to fall here with 5:26 to play in the third quarter, and Kadri Henderson, who returned that kickoff, lost his footing a bit, got stopped near the 15-yard line. I'm thinking forward, right? I didn't think they were going to pass this rule. I didn't know that the owners would vote for something so subjective to be able to be challenged. So it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see that broadened. We've seen plenty of other things broadened in recent years. After the competition committee meets and the owners have a chance to talk about it, play action rolling out. There's the dump off. Catch is made. And that's Donnie Ernsberger picking up about 3 yards near the 18-yard line. Gardner Minshew playing deep into the third quarter tonight. Sets up second down. We'll see. But I guess the players on the field are not going to like.
No. You know what I'm waiting for? You know what I'm waiting for? The Hail Mary. How are they going to call that?
But you know what?
You're right. They talked about that.
Vice versa. Defense can challenge pass interference too, correct?
True.
So
they can.
I guess it could balance out.
Maybe. It just seems as a low pass is ruled to have hit the ground before C.J. Board pulled it in.
It seems like a couple of years ago they were talking about speeding the game up.
They've talked about that for years.
Right.
Here's one look at it, and it looks real close to have.
Yeah, that was a one-hopper.
Hit the ground.
Yeah, Gardner's got to get that ball up. It's a little low.
There's nothing you do. I guess they call it progress. The game moves on. And Sean Payton and Bill Belichick and the coaches were able to heavily influence the process at the owners' meetings, and it is in the rule book for this year, and then they'll revisit it.
Yeah, and I think something else that happens is at the end of the preseason, won't the officials get together and the league will look at it and say, okay, this might be a little much.
They will have a look at it.
Great throw.
First down, C.J. Board pulls it in, and they will. Last year, you recall, the rule was about not being able to lower your head and initiate contact, and they called it plenty in the early preseason, and then they got together and they figured it out, because and it didn't become a big problem last year.
Right, and how else can a running back run the football without ducking his head a little bit? That's just, that's football.
Fine line between common sense and the rules, I suppose. 4:04 to play here. Clock running third quarter, 14-3. Eagles lead. Jaguars have a first down. Trey McBride in motion to the top of your screen. And here's the handoff of Thomas Rawls following his blockers. Got room to the outside. Crosses the 40-yard line. And is out of bounds very near the first down marker. Nice job by the offensive line getting out in front of this one, Leon.
Oh, yeah. Good depth. Good pull.
Tyler Shatley clearing the way.
Got to get a little low on that DB, though. But that was a good pull. Good job by Shatley getting out in an open space.
He's hung around for 5 years because he's such a valuable guy. Can play guard, can play center, can pull.
Hey, the more positions you can play, the longer you stay in the league.
1st and 10. They call it at the 41-yard line. Tight end and a couple of receivers at the top of your screen. Board all by himself at the bottom. Minshew and Rawls in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Minshew dumps it off. Rawls has got it. 45, stays in bounds across the 46. And we'll go out of bounds at the 47.
You know what Minshew's doing different than he did last week? He's recognizing the blitz and where it's coming from. Unlike last week, he was just getting massacred because he couldn't recognize where the blitz was coming from. He knew the blitz was coming from the left side. He turned to the right, dumped it to his running back, and made a play.
We'll take another look at it.
He feels it. Now, no need to take that hit, all right? Gets it out to the running back. Good yardage. Unlike last week, he couldn't recognize where the blitz was coming.
And this is a guy clearly who feels the game of football. We charted his success for you at a couple of different places along the college trail earlier in the game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And you know what? I see the mass improvement by Minshew from week 1 to week 2. I mean, just the little things he's doing, recognizing the blitz, rolling out, taking time, going through his progressions, throwing the ball, being accurate, being precise. What you call it, moxie?
I called it moxie in the first time.
There you go. I wonder what headband he's wearing.
Well, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that picture in the paper with that helmet knocked off.
I call that Hulk smash.
Tight end right Walker's in motion to the bottom of the screen. And there's room. Look at Rawls, how his head was turned all the way around. No flag there.
That's a good hard run.
Yeah,
as he got near
good
midfield.
Hard run. I like that.
I mean, he looks like a man running on a mission, trying to make a football team. And that's the kind of stuff you like to see in the preseason from, the backup guys.
Oh, that got him by the shoulder. That's why the flag wasn't thrown. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard. You're talking about a guy who couldn't practice early on, then practiced for a day and couldn't put back-to-back practices together. Just really started this week to feel good enough to give it a go. And tonight he's giving the Jaguars something because Alfred Blue is out of the ballgame, was early in the first half, so they've been relying on Rawls.
I remember seeing a couple of runs from this guy when he was in Seattle. And he came in for Marshawn Lynch a couple of times. Right. And I thought, man, this is the second coming to Marshawn Lynch.
Lynch softened him up, you think? Minshew with a throw, solid throw, and incomplete. The receiver couldn't pull it into his body as he went to the ground. It would have been a heck of a catch, but he just couldn't make it happen. Trey McBride, who's made plenty of good catches this evening and last week, just wasn't able to pull it down. The defensive back in great position to knock it free.
Yeah, you got to help the quarterback out in those positions. You got to make that catch.
Josh Hawkins, a young man from East Carolina, broke that one up. Brings up 4th down and 1 with 1 minute and 33 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. Rain, not heavy, but steady. Eagles pinching along the line of scrimmage, and Minshew's going to take it himself, and he gets it with, well, I don't know.
That's close.
He reached across the 50-yard line, but I don't think he got it. They're going to put it down right at the 50. He may be a football's length shy of the 1st down.
Ball is short of the line of game, goes over on downs.
I don't like that call in that situation, to be quite honest with you. You know what? I would like to see if the offensive line can get the 1st down.
Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Number 15.
Appreciate it, guys.
All 25 team.
Absolutely.
We're back after this.
Good to see you,
All right,
big sir.
Number 15.
We highlighted Will Richardson with our Sharpie Make It Matter. Let's see how he did. Leon, what do you think? Will Richardson Jr. pushing guys up the field. Not bad performance for him this evening.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Big physical guy, long arms, getting in there, pushing the pile, being physical.
With awesome action against the Eagles' top defensive line.
It's just got to be on a more consistent basis if he wants to start in week 1.
Make It Matter, presented in the preseason by our friends at Sharpie. Well, after the failed 4th down conversion, Thorson rolling out right with a 14-3 lead, launches this ball, and it's incomplete. And there's a flag. Are they going to get Lyndon Johnson for a late hit on the quarterback? That would be one of those unforced errors that Doug Marrone lamented in our meeting with him.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92, defense. 15-yard penalty, First down.
Take a look at the replay. Well, I don't know. That's pretty close. I mean, it wasn't like he hit him low, didn't drive him into the ground.
Why don't you just burp him next time?
And that's from an offensive lineman.
I'm just saying.
That's from an offensive lineman, folks. They protect the quarterback. They know the rules. Just seems like that was maybe a little much. Thorson hands off, running left, the back looking for room. Not much. Teal jerseys everywhere on Adams. Josh Adams, the 225-pounder who scored on the goal line not long ago to make it 14-3. So on 2nd down and 10. Lots of guys rotating in there now. Doug Marrone told us, Leon, he's really happy with the depth that he has at defensive line. As Thorson's target couldn't pull it in, he was looking for Agadosi. Really likes what he's got up front.
Yeah, out of all the positions, he loves what's going on with the defensive front. He thinks that he has the right rotation. Of course, he has the front four that's going to get after it.
Sure.
But, he's looking for those guys in the rotation. He thinks he loves what the defensive line has right now.
Well, let me read you the 8 that I think we could settle on. Ngakoue, Darius, Avery Jones, Calais Campbell, Josh Allen, Taven Bryan. Then you've got Ilianku or Dontavius Russell, the 7th-round draft choice from Auburn, who Doug said was immovable. And Dewan Smoot and Dayton Jones competing there for the backup spot behind Campbell at the big end. Yeah. I think both guys have flashed tonight.
Oh, yeah, especially Dayton Jones.
You bet.
Yeah.
And then Ilianku, we called his name. Haven't called Russell's name quite as much. Maybe we will over the 4th quarter. But that's a deep unit.
Yeah.
There's lots of names there.
Yeah.
Pass rush from a couple of different places. This is the end of the 3rd quarter as the clock runs down to 0. A light rain continues to fall. It's been there most of this quarter.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Eagles lead 14-3. 15 minutes to play here in preseason game number 2 from TIAA Bank Field. And we're back right after this.
Jaguars football is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Created to serve, built to perform. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Insurance Office of America. We make the complex world of insurance simple. Leica Mobile. Make the call. Switch to Leica Mobile.
Welcome back to TIAA Bank Field, where the Jaguars are losing to the Eagles 14-3. It's time for our community champion, presented by TIAA Bank. This summer, linebacker Myles Jack embarked on an NFL USO tour to South Korea, visiting troops and their families at military bases. Myles had the opportunity to experience a week in the lives of our nation's heroes. Thank you, Myles, for making a difference. And all season long, we'll celebrate fans making a difference through the TIAA Bank Community Champion Program. See their stories live right here on game days at TIAA Bank Field.
Thanks, Ash. 15 minutes to play. The rain falling a little heavier here. And Jake Elliott is on to try a 52-yard field goal to make it a 17-3 game. This is preseason, why not? 4th down and 9. Snap, the placement, the kick. Boy, he's got plenty of leg. And he got it. That would have been good from 62. Yeah. He drilled that one. And it's 17-3 Philadelphia, as the Jaguars will send their kickoff return team out. If you're Doug Marrone, do you just keep going with Minshew? Clearly, he's going to be the backup here this year.
Yeah, I think
Why
so.
not get him more snaps?
Yeah.
Or do you think about Magoo or Lee?
Nah. Minshew's going to be your backup. Let him play the whole game.
Well, I'm looking right down on the sidelines right now, and I see the hat on Tanner Lee, so it's certainly not going to be him. And I'm looking around, see guys warming up, and kind of get a sense of what they're going to do.
I think I just saw Minshew with a hat on, too.
All right, so maybe we will see.
Yeah.
Alex Magoo here in the fourth quarter. He's got his helmet on. Now we see him. This is quickly becoming a sparse crowd on a Thursday night, the week that school begins. Jaguars appreciate the 30,000 or so that did make their way to TIAA Bank Field this evening as Henderson is spun down shy of the 20-yard line. So put a grade on Gardner Minshew as we get set to witness Alex Magoo, the Florida International Panther.
I can't give him an A because he didn't score, but he did drive the team down. He did everything that Coach Marone wanted him to do. He took command of the huddle. He stayed poised in the pocket. He made the necessary throws. So if I was to give him a grade, I would give him a B.
All right, 19 of 29, which is 60%.
60%, yeah.
200 yards. Had a couple of big throws. Did have the fumble, but didn't throw a pick. Touchdown called back by a penalty. Here's Magoo. Play action, rolling out left. Looks for Walker, and Walker's up across the 25 and out of bounds at the 28-yard line. From the 19, that's a pickup of 8 yards. Nice little throw as he rolled out to his left.
Yeah, good play action. Follows through with the throw. Good pickup by the receiver.
Ball's at the 28. Good second down and 1. There's Gardner Minshew. Looks like he's wearing a black bandana, and if you're new to the joke, he wears a bandana every day. Wore the Stars and Stripes in our meeting with him yesterday. Kid's got great personality. Just the kind of guy you like to be in that quarterback room. Keeps it light.
Comfortable in his own skin. I like that.
Here's the handoff. Devontae Mays running over the right side, picks up the first down. And I think the story of the game from the offensive perspective, even though they didn't score, was he showed growth this week. And that's what Doug Marone said he needed to see. Had a good week on the practice field. Now let's see him translate that.
That was the key. Coach Marone said he had a great week of practice. Now that translating to having a good game.
Yes,
that's exactly what you want from a coach. You want to see progression from week 1 to week 2.
Ethan Wolf's in the ball game now. Magoo drops back to throw and launches this one at the director of Henderson, and he cannot get an arm on it inside the 35-yard line in Philadelphia territory. Time now for tonight's By-Star star of the game, and it is Gardner Minshew, 19 of 29, 202 yards. And as we've said over the course of the game, nice improvement. Was a better player, better manager of the offense tonight for John DeFilippo.
Absolutely. And that's what you want from your young quarterback. Week in and week out, get better. Sounds a bit cliche, but that's what you want. So you can ask for your rookie quarterback.
He's down there talking to Tanner Lee and Nick Foles right now. Quick drop, and he is driven into the ground. Alex Magoo had no time as TJ Edwards, the middle linebacker, was right there. That looked a lot like Dayton Jones and Cody Kessler in the first half.
No, that was just...
Where'd he come from?
Breakdown and protection, but not up front by that offensive line.
He came over Donnell Green, the left guard. I don't know whether it's his fault or not. Don't know what the assignment was, but that's the gap that he found to get to the quarterback. Brings up 3rd down, 15. Wolf, the tight end, in the slot to the left. 3 receivers for Magoo. They got to cross the 40 on this to keep it alive. Steps up under pressure, spins, now wants to run. He's got room at the 30, makes a man miss. Stays on his feet to the 35, look at him go to the 40, and out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
I see that, dancing with the stars right
nice
there.
Nice little move.
I like it.
Good call, Leon, dancing with the stars.
Yeah, I hate that he was running for his life, though. Offensive line just too much pressure. Oh, the spin move.
17 yards on 3rd down and 15. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
So put the ball to 42-yard line with 12 minutes to go. I know John DeFilippo wants to get this offense into the end zone. He's not going 2 games without scoring. Here's a toss to Devontae Mays. He maybe gets a yard to the 43 before he is put on the ground. Short game. Hey, really, you'd just like to see him keep the clock moving.
Exactly.
On a wet night, you don't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah,
the preseason game. Even these guys, especially these guys.
Yes, yeah, especially in these conditions, with the rain and guys slopping around.
You bet.
That's when injuries occur. You don't want that to happen.
You want these guys on the practice field this week. You need them to play in the second half next week in Miami. And a lot of the game against the Falcons here in 2 weeks. Penalty is thrown as Devontae Mays is dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
2, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Casey McDermott.
Correction. Philadelphia has elected to decline the penalty. It'll be third down, 3rd and 10.
So McDermott, the young man from Miami, is hit with the penalty, but they don't take it. And so it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Jaguars at their own 42-yard line.
I'm going to defend my Miami Hurricane. That was actually a hold on this one.
Was it?
Yes.
Bunchy Stallings?
Yes.
Young man from Kentucky. So the Wildcat, not the Hurricane, should have been called with that one, according to Leon. McGrew in the shotgun takes the snap. Pressure coming. Running, spinning, trying to get free again, and he is. Lots of white shirts. He'll turn and heave this ball down the field in the direction of Raphael Leonard. Oh, it's broken up at the last minute. It looked like he was going to pull that in, but what a play by Blake Countess, who got a hand in there and knocked the ball free. Leonard was about to make the play of the night. How about Magoo?
Yeah.
Nice job. Hey, you are running full speed to your left, and you're a right-handed quarterback.
Against your body, he makes that throw.
And he put the ball right on target.
He did.
Nice job. Jags will punt. And Cook gets off a high hanging kick on a rainy evening here. Scott pulls it in just shy of the 15-yard line. 10:37 to play here at TIAA Bank Field. Leon and I are back right after this.
Philadelphia Eagles beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 17-3, preseason game number 2, 4th quarter. Gardner Minshew played 3 quarters in this game. Last week against Baltimore, well, he lost his helmet on a couple of plays. He told us in the last couple of days he played 4 years in college and never lost his helmet, but last week against Baltimore lost it on 2 occasions. Of course, the big hit near the end zone. So a change was made for Gardner Minshew tonight. He performed well, but that chin strap is different. Instead of a slide and tighten chin strap, he went to a snap-on chin strap. Of course, the equipment folks helping him out, and the helmet stayed on tonight, guys. He gets an A for that.
This season's sideline reports are presented by VyStar Credit Union. We never forget it's your money. Visit VyStarCU.org.
Holding, number 64, offense. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
A nice run by the Eagles, negated with a holding penalty, and it's that time of the game and that time of the season where it gets a little sloppy.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is the reason why I want to keep the preseason, because it gives these kids, some of these kids will never have an opportunity to play another NFL game. And why not have the preseason given out?
Well, it's true. I mean, they could get the time, the reps, the opportunity to earn the coach's attention, but they wouldn't get this. The lights on, announcers talking about them, good or bad. It's their moment. Here's a quick throw by Thorson, and the receiver one-hands it at the 8-yard line. It may have been taken off the hands of the receiver by Picasso Nelson.
The ruling on the field is an interception. The defender was down by contact. It'll be first and goal at the 7-yard line.
Picasso Nelson.
8-yard line. 8-yard line.
The young man from Southern Miss takes the ball. Watch it here. And he manages to hold on as he slides to the ground, but he is down. First and goal for the Jaguars with a chance to get into the end zone. Nice play by
Good
Nelson.
job.
I did an event with him, a ticketing event, back in June. What a delightful kid. He's got an MBA. He's got an MBA.
Okay.
He's a smart kid. Nice job by Nelson. Didn't score, didn't get the money there, but the kid gets money.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. We'd like to make a team and get more of it. Two backs. Receivers at the bottom of your screen. First and goal at the 8. Here's the handoff, and flags come from a number of different locations on the field.
Yeah, hopefully that's offsides defense.
That's the call.
Yeah, they got in the backfield a little too quick for me.
Half the distance to the goal.
Offside, number 78, defense. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
So with 10-11 left to play, this is the Jaguars' best scoring opportunity of the night. Yeah, you can see the big tackle just jump right into the gap. For an offense that now has gone 7 quarters without scoring a touchdown, how much more fun will their meeting room be?
For these young guys,
just to see it.
Oh, it'd be priceless for these young guys. I would run 4 run plays right now.
Here's the handoff to Mays. He lost his footing, trying to cut it back to the inside. He reached to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second and goal. Yeah, it's a light rain. It's still falling. I think it's that slick kind of rain. Just enough to kind of pick up the oil.
Yeah, hard to get your footing a little bit.
Absolutely.
Especially as a lineman picking your feet up and down.
This field was completely replaced after the Rolling Stones played here in late July, and it's in really good shape. Second and goal. 9:20 the clock running, fourth quarter. 17-3 Eagles lead it. Play action. Magoo rolling right, looking into the end zone. Fires a pass. Incomplete. He was looking for Raphael Leonard, and he couldn't connect. Good defense by Trey Elston, the defensive back who was rolling with Leonard. And Magoo gave him a lot of time. He kept rolling, trying to find it.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite squeeze it into that envelope. I don't know that they'd keep 3 quarterbacks, but Magoo clearly has a leg up. I mean, the kid looks, you saw the rollout and the throw that he made to Leonard. In my mind, he's the 3. High snap, he'll turn and throw in the slant. And a flag is thrown. I lost the ball in the sea of hands down there. Looks like it was tipped at the line of scrimmage now, watching. But they're calling, at least the back judge is indicating it's a penalty against the Eagles.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference if the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Fourth down.
So here's fourth and goal. Josh Lambo walks over to warm up, but they're not even going to give him a chance. He doesn't need this rep. So Magoo calmly walks back out to the huddle. Fourth down to go from the 4 with 9 minutes and 9 seconds to play. Down 17-3, here's Alex Magoo. Takes the snap, drops, wants to run, and he's looking for the end zone. He's got it! Touchdown, Jacksonville. They finally get in.
Was that design? Just like the design quarterback draw.
Well, and Magoo's slippery.
Yes, he is.
Picasso Nelson set it up with his interception. Magoo gets it done with his legs. And watch him snake his way out of the pocket. Pulling it down. Wasn't going to be denied. Look at him reaching for the end zone. This crowd has waited all night through the rain here in the second half for a chance to enjoy the moment. They did it just there. They review every scoring play, and he reached over the end line. His leg was close to the ground, and so I can understand why they're taking the time to look at it. But it's a touchdown. And here's Josh Lambo, one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL over the last 2 years. Signed a new contract this offseason. Snap placement kick up on the way. And you knew it would be good, and it was. 9:03 to play. We're back after this on the Jaguars Television Network. Tonight's drive of the game is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you can save. That is clearly the Geico drive of the game, maybe the preseason so far. Let's take a look at it. Just happened, and it was all made possible by Picasso Nelson's interception, Leon.
Yeah, just good anticipation by the DB there. Keeping his eye on the ball, getting the interception in here.
And on fourth down, Alex Magoo took it himself into the end zone for the first touchdown for the Jaguars in the preseason. That brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com. All right, so we see a lot of guys out there now on defense wanting to make plays, wanting to do what Picasso Nelson just did. They put the ball at the 15-yard line. I was about to ask you, hey, why is it at the 15-yard line? There you go. Now they're walking it to the 25. Guys like Michael Hughes and Andrew Williams and Andrew Wingard all out on the field right now. Savion Smith, the undrafted rookie from Alabama. 9:03 to play. Here's Thorson with the handoff and plenty of room to the outside. Boy, look at that guy go. Boston Scott out across the 40-yard line to the 45 for a 20-yard gain. He looked like another guy that's played in Philadelphia for many, many, many big plays, Darren Sproles. There is a flag down.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle number 29, defense. 15-yard penalty. Added to the end of the play. First down.
Josh Robinson. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, you can see with his left hand, he's got him. And he did. He pulled him down by it.
Well, he's lucky this is not the regular season because there'd be a hefty
fine on that one, for sure. So that 20-yard gain becomes 35 after the penalty. First and 10 for Thorson, who's been in the game since the opening drive. Cody Kessler was knocked out. Here's the handoff to Scott again, and he breaks another tackle before Andrew Wingard finally gets him on the ground at the 34, maybe even the 33-yard line. It's a gain of about 6.5, maybe 7 yards. Wingard's a guy that Doug Marrone said he really has made great progress since he showed up here as an undrafted rookie out of Wyoming. Has played most of this game. Scott stays in the backfield with 8 minutes to play. Eagles in Jaguars territory, leading 17-10. Scott with his third straight handoff. Boy, he gets lost just like Sproles. Sproles comes back to the Eagles this year, by the way.
Yeah.
At 5'6". Boston Scott is 5'6".
And a guy like Wingard that you just mentioned, that's why you had the preseason game. No one knows if he's going to make the Jaguar team or not, but the possibility of him getting film, another team seeing and watching him, and seeing if he can be a perfect fit.
There is opportunity on these evenings for sure, even if the Jaguars already know 45 or 46 of their 53. Here's Scott again in traffic, getting lost. He's finally pulled down by Michael Hughes inside the 25 after a gain of 4.
Yeah, but that's for all these guys. I mean, these guys that are playing right now.
Every player in the league.
Every player in the league. You know, there's no assurance that they're going to make this team, but getting good film in the preseason gives these kids an opportunity to not only make a roster, but in the practice squad.
But you understand why we're talking now about how viable the preseason is, because coaches aren't playing many of their starters in week 1 and week 4. Now tonight, week 2 is added to that list. I mean, how long is it before we see more teams do what the Rams did last year? And we talked about this. Look, Jaguars, Doug Marrone said he wasn't going to play Nick Foles until his line was back healthy. Well, that was the case last year with the Rams. Their line wasn't healthy, so they didn't put Jared Goff out there.
I don't blame you.
And if Goff's not out there, Gurley's not going to be out there. And if Gurley's not out there, they're not going to put the receivers out there. If the offense isn't playing, why should the defense play? I mean, it becomes
snowball effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all run now, and a nice move made by the Eagles back to get all the way down to the 5-yard line. Donnell Pumphrey, young man from San Diego State, froze a defender in his tracks with that little move. Savion Smith didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah. The Eagle running backs have been doing this all game long. They've been getting pushed to the front side, and they've been going backside. And then our defensive players have been free-flowing, and they've been cutting back, making big plays.
Mentioned that Sproles is back for his 15th season. You think adding a guy like Scott at 5'6" and Pumphrey at 5'9" is the Eagles' way, Howie Roseman's way of finding his next Aaron Sproles? Here's Pumphrey again. This time Smith stands still and lets Pumphrey commit to the inside before he steps in and makes the tackle. There is a flag, though. 5:23 to play fourth quarter. Eagles with a 17-10 advantage.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, use of the helmet, number 42, defense. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
First time we've seen that tonight. Andrew Wingert, the Wyoming Cowboy. He's running in there on a wet field. Kind of looks like maybe his momentum, yeah.
Yeah, that's not his fault. Lost his footing, helmet to helmet. I mean, he was the blunt of the hit.
Yeah, you go back to Josh Robinson and the pass interference that set up first and goal at the 1. That felt a little ticky-tack. Here's Scott looking for the end zone, and he's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. That one right there. You could make a case, Eagles fans could make a case for the holding on Josh Robinson. Now, the receiver, right, he did have his elbow planted firmly in his ribcage, whatever. But there, with Wingard losing his footing, that clearly was not.
Helmet
that,
no.
Not lowering the helmet.
It was nothing malicious.
It was lowered by the force of gravity, which hit him when his feet came out from underneath him. So it's 23-10 with 4:55 to play. Good news for us, another opportunity to see Alex Magoo.
Yeah.
I imagine what we'll see next week in Miami is when Foles is done and Minshew is done, next week it'll be Tanner Lee.
Yeah.
Eagles with an 8-play drive, 75 yards, every one of them on the ground. Burned about 5 minutes off the play clock as the extra point is up and good. 24-10, Eagles in command, fourth quarter in Jacksonville.
Please reset the game clock.
We're back after this on the Jaguars Television Network. Fox 30 in Jacksonville is your home for all things Jaguars. Jags Wired airs Wednesday at 7:30. Then on Sunday, it's TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend at 10:30. And for those of you on the network, check your local listings for airings in your area. Brian Sexton, Leon Searcy, Brent Martineau, and Ashlyn Sullivan on the field. 24-10 the Eagles with a 2-touchdown advantage. 5 minutes to play here in the ball game. And Kadri Anderson is back to retrieve this kickoff. And he's going to let this one go. Take over at the 25-yard line, and here comes Alex Magoo. Some guys out there who are battling for jobs on this offensive line. Actually, there's two. Casey McDermott's got a chance. Josh Wells is playing right tackle. Wells is a guy who a year ago was the swing tackle, Leon. Now he's being challenged by Cedric Ogbuehi. He's got to do what to come back and play as the swing tackle this year?
He's got to make him smart. I mean, he's got to be someone that's reliable and accountable for this team to believe in. I mean, he came in last year when Cam Robinson went down. But did a serviceable job. But now
he got hurt.
Yeah, before he got hurt. Now he's in a situation where he's fighting for a roster spot.
Magoo's pass spatted at the line of scrimmage. That's really the word on Wells. Solid guy, can play to a starter's level, but can't stay healthy. Thumb injury cost him in back-to-back seasons at one point. Last year, he battled a couple of different nicks, bumps, and bruises. Playing into the fourth quarter tonight, trying to hang on. Here's Magoo with Devontae Mays. Pressure coming. Throw to Raphael Leonard, and he couldn't pull it in. So, next week, Miami. You and I will not have that broadcast. It'll be a national broadcast. But we'll be watching. How long will the starters go? Doug Marrone did say this week the starters would play next week.
Yeah.
So how much would you play them?
I don't see the starters playing more than a quarter.
Which is different than the normal third preseason game.
Yeah, normal third preseason game, when I was playing, you at least got a half. And maybe the first series in the third quarter. I doubt that happens next week. Maybe they'll get the first quarter.
You still think there are some guys who won't play regardless?
Yeah, I think there's some play. Calais Campbell doesn't need to play next week.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey doesn't need to play next week.
Leonard Fournette
doesn't need to play. But
however, if you're going to put the quarterback out there, don't you have to give him some weapons?
Yeah, I agree. I take that back with Leonard. Leonard might play. Leonard should play. You're going to give Nick Foles all his weapons. You're going to give him Conley. You're going to give him Westbrook. You're going to give him Chark. You're going to give him the guys that are going to probably start in week 1. And you better give him 2 tackles, 2 solid tackles. Hopefully Jawan Taylor's healthy.
Right.
At right tackle, and Sergio Boye is your left tackle.
Does Cam Robinson have a shot at playing next week coming off bump?
I mean, not from what I saw of practice. Okay. He's making strides, but he's still hampered a little. Mentally, I still see him, thinking about that.
Okay, so not next week, and certainly not against the Falcons.
Yeah.
Does he have a shot to play on opening day? Or do you think that's still something?
It just depends on how much he's progressing. I mean, I can only, what the trainer tells me, with the weightlifting coach coming, how is his treatment and all that stuff is going. And mentally, is he over the fact that he had an ACL tear? Is he able to take the pressure of stopping a bull rush and all that kind of stuff? Because we've seen him do 2-man sled and everything in practice, but we've yet to see him go up against any solid competition.
So I don't believe you ever had an ACL, did you, as Scott takes the handoff?
No.
Doug Peterson ran it 8 straight plays the last drive. I don't imagine we're going to see the ball in the air here. But you had the quadriceps tendon. So when you went to Baltimore the year later, how long did it take you to feel comfortable and confident that it was repaired and you could plant it?
Yeah, but I was healthy with the quadriceps tendon before I got into free agency.
Okay.
So by the time camp came around, I was good to go.
Clock ticking now, 4 minutes to play here in the second preseason game. Thorson hands off to Scott, who stutter steps, leaps a defender, and gets to the 49. Just me. I watched Darren Sproles play high school football back in suburban Kansas City. This Boston Scott kid, this 5'6", 200-pounder, he's got a little of it in him. Kind of an exciting young player.
Yeah.
You're always looking for guys like that.
Always looking.
That's what the Eagles look for. The Jaguars, apparently this year, are looking for power in their backers. Bring in Alfred Blue, Raquel Armstead, Devontae Mays, Thomas Rawls. Each team has its personality on offense. And here's Pumphrey, and he puts his shoulder down and drives for the first down over Moon, the safety. And the clock will keep running down towards the 2-minute warning. Now, we know what the Eagles' personality is because Doug Peterson's been there for a couple of years, won the Super Bowl. How much do you suppose we know about what John DeFilippo wants to do with this offense?
Yeah.
Have you seen just traces of it here? Or is he just playing it straight vanilla?
I think he's
Why
playing,
give Kansas City a look?
Yeah, I hope it's straight vanilla, because, we've only scored one touchdown in the preseason. But, any offensive coordinator is not going to show his hand in the preseason, especially, with all this film and this stuff that's out there. So, but we kind of have an idea what he wants to do. He wants to 2 tight end set, 1 back, take your shots, play action. Hopefully we can run the ball.
Well, we're winding down towards the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to play in a Thursday night game against the Eagles here at TIAA Bank Field. We'll step aside and return with the end of the ball game right after this. 24-10 Eagles in command with 2 minutes to play. Folks, hurry into your neighborhood gate tomorrow and say cheers to 25 years with a Jaguars 25th season collectible cup. filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. That's at your neighborhood gate. Jaguars travel next week to play the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida. We were down there Christmas Eve last year, and it was a nice day because the Jaguars won. There's going to be a personal foul for grabbing Scott's face mask. They really have done a heck of a job renovating that stadium down there.
Oh, it's different.
Miami guy.
Oh, yeah. It's
I know you didn't play your college ball there.
Personal foul, face mask number 57, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So between the stadium, the quick trip, and at least a glimpse of the starters, reason to watch next week.
Absolutely.
And come home and start thinking about the regular season.
Yep.
Bad part about that penalty is it gets into the 28. Bad part about that penalty is to stop the clock momentarily. 24-10. Jaguars do have timeouts left to use if they choose. I don't know why you would. But the Eagles are just going to burn the clock here. Run this one down. And again, teams are so cautious with player safety issues. We've seen it this year to an even greater degree than years past. Doug's not even going to bother stopping the clock and getting his quarterback a little 2-minute drill.
No.
They'll do that on the practice field.
Yeah.
They're not going to mess with it here on the...
No need for that.
No need for it.
Especially with the weather conditions in the field. Don't want to risk injury.
I wonder if Doug Marrone will have anything to say to Doug Peterson as they walk off the field, like, hey, I remember that chapter in your book. Remember Peterson's book where he questioned Doug at the end of the first half in the AFC Championship game?
Couldn't be me because I would say so.
You probably would. That's what I like about you. Hey, what do you really want to say here, big fella? So, even though it's 24-10, do you leave here tonight feeling better about this football team than you did when we left to get on the airplane in Baltimore last week?
You know what? You feel better about your backup quarterback. Gardner Minshew was light years ahead of his time compared to last week. He was poised in the pocket. He knew where the blitz was coming. He looked at his check down. He stood in the pocket. He made the necessary throws. So I would feel a lot better about Gardner Minshew's progress from week 1 to week 2.
Well, there's the final snap from quarterback Clayton Thorson, who went the whole way tonight because of the injury to Cody Kessler. And our final score is Philadelphia 24, Jacksonville 10. This game has been produced by Winkler Productions. Jaguars and Eagles sharing some thoughts, both teams with a couple of weeks left to get this thing tuned up and ready to go before the regular season comes calling on September the 8th. Now, this game has been produced by Winkler Productions, LLC, is an exclusive presentation of Action News Jacksonville and the Jaguars. Our next telecast on the network will be 2 weeks from tonight here at TIAA Bank against the Atlanta Falcons. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock. For Leon and Brent and Ashlyn, I'm Brian Sexton. Good night from TIAA Bank Field in Duval County. Talk to you in 2 weeks.